Hey everyone, I sincerely appreciate your support. If you enjoy my audiobooks, I would be truly grateful if you could subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support even further, you're welcome to become a Patreon member, where you can access audiobooks of novels as long as they are freely available on the internet. Your kindness and support mean so much. Thank you.
Manhattan, New York. On a bustling street corner, two young men stormed out of a small storefront, voices raised in outrage. A broken, dusty jar that looks like it belongs in a haunted house. $100,000? For that? You've got to be kidding me. This place belongs in Hell's Kitchen, not Midtown. Exactly. Who charges that much for glorified garbage? That's highway robbery. This is fraud. I'm calling the Better Business Bureau. I bet he doesn't even pay taxes. Their shouting turned heads, drawing attention from passers-by. Among the crowd, a sharply dressed young man paused. He glanced at the shop sign, then at the fuming customers, and smirked. Still the same strange taste, he muttered, pushing open the door. Inside, behind the counter, a bored-looking young man lounged in a plush chair, yawning. "Ron," said the man who entered, "you are officially more confusing than Christine." This was Stephen Strange, currently one of the top neurosurgeons in the country. One day, he would become the Sorcerer Supreme. "Hey Stephen," Ron replied without getting up. "Isn't it great? If I disappear, you won't have any competition for Christine." Ron, handsome, casual, and completely unbothered, was no ordinary shopkeeper. He was a transmigrator. Reborn into this world as an orphan, he carried memories from his past life. His plan was simple: stay low, study medicine, and stay as far away from Marvel's endless crises as possible. That all changed the day he saw the Stark Industries logo on TV. His reaction: shock. Degree rage. Winky face, acceptance. Because this wasn't just any world. This was the Marvel Universe. And in Marvel, if you're not facing a crisis, you're just not paying attention. Knowing this, Ron gave up medicine. Why? Because his gold finger, a cheat-like ability, finally awakened the jar system. So, he opened a mysterious jar shop. Every day, 10 jars. Each jar had a chance of containing items or abilities from any world. Swords, powers, talismans, you name it. Selling a jar gave Ron a chance to draw one for himself, with a 10x higher success rate. Stephen still didn't get it. You were one of the top students. You could have been a world-class surgeon. Why open a shop? Ron grinned. Because I make more in a day than a surgeon does in a year. Stephen scoffed and walked over to the wine shelf, grabbing a random bottle. You're lucky I don't take you seriously. If you don't disappear, Christine and I might still have a chance. Ron smirked. You're right. I'll let her know. Then casually, oh, by the way, I saw a burgundy-haired woman in your passenger seat yesterday. Stephen choked. The day before, it was a curly-haired brunette. Stephen coughed harder. And last week? Wasn't that a model? Ron raised a brow. You sure Christine will appreciate your true love? Stephen groaned, eyes full of betrayal. Man-to-man secrets. Ever heard of them? Ron just shrugged. Oh, and Stephen, are you into guys? Stephen nearly dropped the wine. What? Ron smirked again. You're handsome, rich, talented, and yet, never brought anyone home. Stephen. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Ron checked the time. Shouldn't you be at the hospital? I own the hospital, remember? Stephen said smugly. Your suggestion. Now I do what I want. Ron rolled his eyes. Rich people problems. He had money too, but compared to Stephen, he was still climbing. That was one reason he'd gone into medicine. Fast money, social respect, and a direct line to Stephen, the future Sorcerer Supreme. Because in Marvel, the poor mutate. The rich build suits. And the smart build connections. Take Spider-Man, the Lizard, the Hulk, every mutation came with funding. No money equals no powers equals no plot armor. Being a doctor was the fastest, safest route to survival. And if he got close enough to Stephen, maybe when the Ancient One appeared, he'd get noticed. No need to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. Just learning magic was enough. A little power. A little protection. That was the plan. Until the jars showed up. Now, he didn't need to wait for fate to throw him a bone. Because with each jar sold, he was writing his own destiny, one mystery at a time. Ron said nothing. Stephen opened his mouth to speak, But before he could, the shop door creaked open. The two turned toward the sound. A man and a woman stepped inside. The woman had striking blonde hair and faint freckles, distinctive features that marked her as all-American. She wore a fitted white suit, her posture crisp and professional. Sharp, stylish, confident. But beneath that poised exterior, exhaustion clung to her like a shadow. The man beside her was broad and dressed in a black suit, silent and watchful, a bodyguard through and through. Ron narrowed his eyes slightly. Blonde. Freckles. White suit. Pepper Potts? And the guy round in black. Happy Hogan? Recognition flashed in Steven's eyes, too. Wait. I've seen them recently, he muttered. Then it clicked. Of course. The news. She's Tony Stark's assistant. With him missing, reporters won't leave her alone. Welcome, Ron said from behind the counter, his voice calm and smooth, like silk laced with subtle magic. Pepper's tired gaze snapped to him. For a moment, she forgot Steven even existed. Steven clicked his tongue. Here we go again. He'd known Ron for years. There was just something about the guy. Women were drawn to him. Once he spoke, they listened. Trusted. Sometimes swooned. It was that exact charm that got Ron transferred from surgery to the hospital's new mental health department. Management said he was a natural for therapy, especially with women. Thankfully, Steven had already locked things down with Christine, probably. He sipped his wine with a sense of impending doom. Pepper's eyes swept the room before settling again on Ron. This place changed? I remember it being a coffee shop. Ron offered a polite nod. It was. But coffee only sharpens the mind so much. Too much, and you're more anxious than alert. Now, I serve something a little different. He reached for a porcelain teapot and poured the golden liquid into 2 cups. This is dragon bud tea. An Eastern specialty. It calms the mind, lifts the spirit. Pepper raised a brow. One of those mystical teas? Ron gave a warm smile and slid the cups across the counter. She hesitated, but then leaned closer. The fragrance was subtle and smooth, like honeyed warmth after a long winter. One inhale cleared her head. The tension in her shoulders eased. Happy, curious, took a cautious sip. Whoa. As Tony Stark's longtime driver and bodyguard, he'd tasted luxury teas from all over the world. But this? This was something else. Fragrant. Soothing. No bitterness. It was like peace in a cup. Pepper followed his lead and took a sip. Her lips parted in silent awe. For a moment, she forgot everything. Tony's disappearance, the boardroom battles, the sleepless nights. She felt clean. Restored. Ron watched with amusement. That's spiritual tea for you, he thought. The shop was connected to realms far beyond Earth. Technically, he could summon any drink from any world. But to keep things balanced, their magical effects were mostly sealed. Only minor perks, like clarity and comfort, remained. Still, they worked wonders. Pepper set her cup down slowly. How much for this? Ron shook his head. It's free. Free. She blinked. Steven leaned in. Everything here is free. Drink as much as you want. Except the jars. Those aren't free. Ron chuckled. He's right. Tea's on the house. But if you're feeling curious. He gestured behind him to a shelf lined with dark, ancient-looking jars. Care to try your luck with one? Pepper turned. The jars were, well, unimpressive. Dull. No shine. No labels. She frowned slightly. You serve world-class tea, but sell these ugly things? Still, after experiencing the tea, she wasn't about to underestimate anything in this store. My name is Pepper Potts, she said. How do these jars work? I'm Ron, the shop owner, he replied. Each jar contains something from another world, an item, a tool, sometimes even a power. You won't know until you open it. And the price? One jar, $100,000. Pepper paused. Do I at least get some of that tea with it? Ron grinned. Absolutely. A full tin of dragon buds on the house. Steven groaned. There goes my title as your first customer. Ron shrugged. First customer gets a bonus. Buy 10 jars, and the 10th has a double chance of something extraordinary. Pepper glanced once more at the dark jars. Ugly, yes. Mysterious, definitely. And after that tea? She wasn't so sure they were just jars anymore.
This opportunity should be given to Ms. Potts. Steven took a sip of wine nonchalantly. Luo, I really should do a craniotomy on you. Look what's going on in your head. Good doctors don't do it. Open a shop and sell cans, but such good drinks are free. It looks like there is something wrong with his brain. Steven shook his head. You're even harder to understand than the models on Penthouse. You should tell Tony Stark that. You two should have something in common. Ron gave him a disgusted look. Don't you know that the models in that magazine all had in-depth exchanges with Tony Stark? There's a saying, the attic, Playboy Tony's wardrobe. So, you two are kind of like-minded. Fellow people? Steven was startled. Then he took a sip of wine in disgust. He decided that he would never look for models from Penthouse impurities in the future, but he is a tough talker. How could he admit that he had played something that others had played before? It has been more than 2 months since there was no gossip about the Playboy and the model. This means that the models in these 2 months are all clean? Ron blinked. Well, as long as you're happy. For Steven himself deceived himself. What else could he say? Unlike Steven, Ron was very concerned about Tony's news. When I found out that Tony was going to Afghanistan, conduct an arms display, he just understands. The world is about to enter the superhero era, and Tony is probably blacksmithing in a cave right now. Shaked his head. Ron looked at Pepper. Ms. Potts, how many jars do you want? I'm not interested in this dark jar. Pepper looked cold. She hid out because she was worried about Tony. As a result, I could still hear others teasing Tony. If not for drinking Ron's tea, she just turned around and left. How much is the tea? I don't like to owe favors. Tea is free. Ron shrugged. He knew Tony had a close call in the end. He will escape even if no one can save him. So when he spoke, he forgot that Pepper was there. Ron looked at Steven helplessly. Steven, my first customer is gone. As a good friend, should you make it up to me? What to make up for? Steven was stunned. Ron, buy a jar. My store has been open for a day, but it hasn't opened yet. Buy a jar? Co-author, are you really planning to open a store to sell jars? Steven was speechless. If a good doctor doesn't do it, I really don't know what you are thinking. Okay, for the sake of being friends for many years, you only have 10 jars in total. There was surprise on his face. He really hadn't noticed before. Why don't you show off more? Ron, only 10 sold a day. He also wanted to sell more, but conditions did not allow it. Maybe there will be more in the future. You just said you wanted to buy 10 jars for a total of $1 million US. What? Steven was about to say, how much can you earn with just 10 people? Hearing the outrageous price from Ron's mouth, his face was filled with shock. The wine in his mouth almost spurted out. You want 100,000 for this broken jar? Are you sure it's not $10? Ron had an I knew you couldn't afford it look on his face. Forget it, just buy 100,000, thank you for your patronage. How could Steven not afford it? Not counting fixed assets, luxury cars, luxury watches, and luxury homes. The available cash alone is at least hundreds of millions. 100,000 is really nothing to him. But, buy such a jar. Steven, 100,000 each. I have to be mentally retarded to buy your jar. The models in the attic are not worth 100,000 a night. You can see Ron's expression. Steven gritted his teeth. Damn FK, just think that my brain is paralyzed. No, if you say 10, then 10. Steven took out the card with a dark face. Swipe your card? No tip. Haha, the boss is very generous. Didn't care about Steven's expression. Ron reached out and touched Steven's card. Then removed the 10 jars. Okay, these 10 jars are yours now. Steven, what is that? A new card swiping machine? Fingerprint machine. If the phone hadn't received a prompt. Steven thought Ron was teasing him. Just keep these broken jars for yourself. They don't deserve to be in my office. Ron raised an eyebrow. Are you sure you don't want to? Don't want. Hey, okay. Then I'll open it. Ron rubbed his hands and took out a small golden hammer from under the counter. I never thought I would be able to open jars one day. Don't regret it if I don't get anything good. I remember opening a can-at-do knife and... Don't talk anymore. If you talk too much, you'll just burst into tears. Steven noticed his expression and was stunned. Could this broken jar have something magical? He stepped forward to observe carefully. But no matter how he looked at it, he couldn't see what was magical. It was just a simple pottery jar. No pattern. It was pitch black inside. And couldn't see clearly. He simply waved his hand. It doesn't matter, this 1 million is to celebrate your opening. Given his relationship with Ron, let alone 1 million. Even if 10 million was thrown away, he wouldn't feel bad. Ron patted his shoulder with an inexplicable look. He is indeed a top doctor who is better than me, just rich. Under Steven's gaze, Ron raised the golden hammer. Crack! A white light flashed on the broken jar. A card-shaped object, floating above the counter. Steven looked at the counter in surprise. Where are the fragments of the jar that was just smashed? Why is it gone? He had clearly seen that the jar was empty. Where did the white light come from? How did this card come out? Item, Minotaur summoning card. Level, white. Note, after use, you can summon a Minotaur to fight for you for half an hour. Ron raised his hand and took the card. Very good stuff. Minotaur summoning card. After use, you can summon a Minotaur to fight for you. The time limit is 30 minutes. He handed the card to Steven. Steven was holding back a smile. Lo, given our relationship, I really consider the 1 million as a celebration of your opening. You don't have to do this, Minotaur summoning card. How could there be a Minotaur in this world? Do you want to summon a Minotaur? Stephen was only halfway through his words. A voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Summon. His doubtful voice had just fallen. The card in his hand burst into white light. It turned into a light spot and disappeared. Then, in front of him, a little over 2 meters tall appeared. Minotaur holding a big axe. Gradually, it turned from fantasy to reality. Pepper and Happy. Stephen. The ferocious Minotaur scared Pepper and Happy and made them take 2 steps back. Stephen reached out and touched it blankly. This real touch. Damn it, it's real? Steel-like muscles, each protruding and bulging. Tight, full of power. Sharp horns, a glance makes people tremble. And a big axe flashing with cold light. Stephen has no doubt. That thing can split him in half in one go. This Minotaur is definitely a killing machine. Violent heartbeat, heavy breathing. Damn it, the mouth stinks. Stephen frowned and took a few steps back. But his eyes were always shining. Ron, how did you do it? Is this biotechnology? I remember there was a rumor that a green monster ran out of a military laboratory. Is this yours, a test product from the same batch? But how did you create it with a card? Stephen asked several questions excitedly. The Minotaur looked like it was waiting for orders. It was obviously under control. With this kind of biotechnology, it would be a huge profit? Ron was also looking at the Minotaur curiously. This thing. In reality, it was also the first time he saw it. I wanted to reach out and touch it, but looking at the thick body hair, it also exudes the unique body odor of the Minotaur. It discouraged him. It's okay to touch the elf, but forget about the Minotaur. Hearing Stephen's question, Ron retracted his gaze. This is not biotechnology, it is a creature from another world. You mean, another world? Stephen didn't laugh this time. Instead, he looked dazed. I thought that as good friends, they were already familiar with each other. But now, why do I feel so mysterious and strange? Ron nodded. Yes. In that world, this Minotaur is just one of the weakest creatures. The weakest creature? Stephen's mind suddenly emerged with the general situation of another world. A powerful world similar to myths and legends. Strength is respected, and the weak are the prey of the strong. Ron interrupted his fantasy. Okay, don't think about it. There are still 2 9 jars here, smash them quickly. See how lucky you are. This time Stephen no longer disliked the ugly jars. Picked up the golden hammer handed over by Ron. Smashed the jars. Several times in a row. Crack, crack. 6 rays of light appeared again. 4 white and 2 blue. Wait for the light to dissipate. The fragments still disappeared. On the counter, there are 6 more items of different shapes. The 4 white ones are each Itachi. Item, rusty tie sword. Level, white. Note, a rusty sword. Ron. Isn't this the famous tetanus blade? 1 wooden stick. Item, hard wooden stick. Level, white. Note, hard wooden stick. Meeting Stephen's expectant eyes, Ron coughed unbearably. These 2 are rubbish. Just a rusty blade, a stick. Stephen, Luo, these 2, 200,000. Beside them, Pepper and the 2 also looked at each other with disdain. Thought they were good friends. As a result, the trap became even more severe. Ron glanced at the next 2 items. His eyes suddenly lit up. Those are 2 ancient scrolls. Item, professional scroll. Level, white. Note, after use, you can choose a profession. After selection, a trial will be conducted. Occupations, ghost swordsman, sharpshooter, fighter, magician, priest. Item, trial scroll. Level, white. After use, you can enter the elementary level map for trial. During the trial, killing monsters can improve your own strength. Ron threw the 2 pieces of trash aside. Opening a can is all about luck. Sometimes you're lucky and you'll get gold as soon as you open it. If you're unlucky, it's normal for you to drive some garbage. Look at these 2, aren't they good things? Looking at the 2 scrolls Ron took down, Stephen looked suspicious. What's this? Ron, this is called a career scroll. You can choose a combat profession in Otherworld. There are currently 5 careers to choose from. Ghost swordsman, sharpshooter, fighter, magician, cleric. Every moment of professional peak has the power to destroy the world. You can use it silently. Stephen heard this and took the scroll. Use. 5 figures appeared in his mind. One has a red arm, holding a long sword. A random strike of the sword is a sword light that cuts through the earth. The second sharpshooter. You can use thermal weapons to perform a variety of attacks. He just glanced at it and ignored it. I'm not interested in sharpshooters. Although the sharpshooter is not weak either. The same goes for the third fighter. It was the thought that made him take another look. Until the 4th magician. See the various magic methods. His eyes suddenly lit up. Somehow, it's as if he should be a magician. His eyes were fixed on the magician figure. Have you chosen the profession magician? Yes. Choose the moment when it ends. Stephen only felt a burst of energy emerging from the scroll. Turned around inside the body. He is still wondering why he chose to finish his career, when there is no difference. Suddenly discovered. The scene before me changed. The originally ordinary world has become colorful. Red fire element. Blue water element. Gray space elements. It turns out that this is the world of magicians. Stephen muttered. Ron immediately understood that he still chose the magician. Okay, don't be emotional. You are just entering the threshold now. I'm still far from becoming a magic master. Here, your equipment. Item, ancient crystal staff. Level, blue. Note, Magician's exclusive equipment can increase magic power, and speed up magic recovery. If you haven't learned magic yet, believe me, the enemy's head is definitely not as hard as a staff. Item, Dance of Light Bracelet. Level, Blue. Note, after wearing it, you can increase your physical fitness, enhance defense ability, and speed up energy improvement and recovery. A magic wand, a bracelet. The two pieces of equipment were all shining with magic power. Steven watched without blinking. Take the equipment. No need for Ron to explain. Steven felt it. Both pieces of equipment have strong magic power, especially the staff he held in his hand. Connected with the trace amount of magic power in his body, magic power circulates through the body and staff, and slowly grow in the cycle. Does the equipment still have this effect? Steven was so surprised that he wanted to put the bracelet on too. Do you also put the bracelet on directly? Ron, after you change jobs, there will be an equipment slot that you can open by thinking silently. Open it and study it yourself. It's very simple. Steven followed Ron's instructions and opened the equipment column. Sure enough, an equipment slot appeared that only he could see. There are 10 grids in the equipment column, divided into head and shoulders, tops, bottoms, belts, shoes, weapons, necklaces, bracelets, rings, titles. In addition, there is a space backpack. Now the equipment bar and backpack are empty. Looking at the crystal staff in his hand, a prompt is flashing on it. Do you want to equip the weapon Ancient Crystal Staff? Equip. The crystal staff flashed slightly. It is still in his hand, unchanged. But in the equipment bar, on the weapon grid, the icon of the crystal staff appeared. Steven felt that their connection had deepened. Before, it was just a magic connection. Now the crystal staff really belongs to him. Unless he takes the initiative to give it to others, no one can use it. Moreover, after equipping, not only does it increase magic power, the crystal staff also increases his magic power and mental power by 30%. His mind is also clearer. It was mentioned in the introduction of the magician profession. This is the improvement of mental power. Magic power represents the mana. Then mental power represents the strength of magic attack. It's a pity that he doesn't know any magic. Now, he is still a melee flat A-flow, headshot big magician. Fortunately, magic power also improves physical fitness. After studying the backpack, Steven moved his mind, and the crystal staff was put back into the weapon slot. He nodded with satisfaction. He equipped the bracelet again. Do you want to equip the accessory light dance bracelet? Yes. After an icon appeared in the slot of the bracelet, Steven felt that his strength had become stronger. He looked around. He came to the sofa and hugged it with his hands. With a force, the sofa weighing hundreds of pounds was easily lifted up by him. Bang! Put it back in place. Steven shouted excitedly. Ro, it's amazing. Ron smiled at him. Okay, there are 3 more jars. Be my first customer. You have an exclusive benefit. For every 10 jars you buy, the 10th one will definitely have a double reward. So, hurry up, there are good things waiting for you later. Steven, really? Great, Luo. Ron raised his eyebrows. Don't you mind it now? Steven shook his head quickly. Whoever minded is a fool. Went to the counter, picked up the golden hammer and hit it 3 times. Crack, crack, crack. Accompanied by 3 crisp sounds. It was 3 white lights. Steven's eyes were nervous. If he remembered correctly, the 2 equipments were blue lights, and there would be garbage in the white light. Item, Trial Scroll. Level, White. Item, Mana Potion. Level, White. Note, Recovery Potion from the League of Legends world. After use, you can quickly restore energy. The higher the strength, the more effects. Item, Skill Upgrade Scroll *2. Level, White. Note, after use, you can upgrade one of your own skills, skill level +1. Looking at the last 3 items, Ron breathed a sigh of relief. I thought the description of extracting the heavens and the worlds was fake. Steven, this guy, is like poking DNF's nest. 8 in a row are from the same world. Fortunately, the 9th one was changed. A trial scroll, the same as the previous one. After use, you will conduct an elementary level trial. Killing monsters will increase your strength. A mana potion can restore magic power. For you now, one is almost completely restored. The last double reward is a skill level upgrade scroll. After use, you can upgrade the skill by 1 level. Make the skill more powerful. Ron explained the effects of the 3 items to Steven. The tension in Steven's eyes dissipated. Not bad. All 3 items are good. Mana potion, can't be used for now. No skills. He has no way to consume mana. Put it in the backpack together with the skill improvement scroll. This trial scroll. After use. Steven hasn't finished speaking. Suddenly, the man disappeared in the store. The Minotaur disappeared with him. Ron, didn't I tell you that using it will lead to a trial? And you have to fight monsters. Why did he use it without saying a word? So brave? It turns out that Steven, I misjudged you, you are a warrior. Trial begins. Novice trial is about to begin. Lauren Goblin Camp. Teleporting. Novice trial? What the hell? Teleport? Hey, I'm not ready yet. However, during the teleportation, Steven could no longer make a sound. He could only shout in his heart. A whole Ron, you definitely did it on purpose? Watching Steven's body light up with white light. Then it dissipated on the spot. And in the store, a light curtain appeared. Steven's figure appeared inside. Next to him was a Minotaur holding a giant axe. Pepper and the Harpy were already numb. He. Entering the trial map, Ron explained briefly. He didn't even take his eyes off the projection. I saw a map of Lorraine. He breathed a sigh of relief. Little goblin. They are monsters with similar physiques to ordinary children. Although Steven has been picking up girls all year round and having S*X every night. However, the physical fitness is still good. After all, if you are in poor health, it is impossible for your hands to be steadier than a machine. Not to mention the equipment increase. Another Minotaur followed. Killing all the baby goblins should be easy. It's really a trial. You will become stronger after the trial. At the moment, Pepper only felt regret. If only she had bought the jar just now. She is the one who has gained super ability at this moment. She can rely on ability to find Tony instead of waiting every day. But now it's too late to regret. She thought before Ron said. 10 jars are sold every day. I secretly made up my mind to buy it. However, Ron's attitude just now made her feel nervous. Don't be afraid of expensive things. I'm afraid Ron won't sell her. At the moment, Steven was shouting. A whole Ron. Where is this place? Get me back quickly. He had no doubt at all about the authenticity of the surrounding environment. Because they just showed up. A little green-skinned monster rushed up, grinning and roaring. He looked like he was going to eat him alive. He was so frightened that he froze in place. Fortunately, the Minotaur didn't need his command and took the initiative in the face of danger. Cut off the green monster's head with an axe. Splashing blood. At the moment it was flowing down his cheek. Warm feeling. Make him extremely sure that this is true. At this time, a white light spot flew out from the corpse of the green-skinned monster that fell to the ground. It quickly fell into him. He suddenly felt warm all over. The strength seems to be slightly stronger. Decreasing vision as we age. It seems to have recovered a bit. It is different from the previous increase in equipment. This is improving his original foundation. This is another world. Destroy monsters and upgrade. Thinking of Ron's words, Steven's eyes lit up. Commanding the Minotaur, he began to search for goblins. Minotaur, find all the goblins and kill them. Looking at the Minotaur holding a giant axe, Steven felt safe. At this moment, nothing beats an obedient, axe-wielding Minotaur. It made him feel more at ease. If so, it would be 2 Minotaurs. Just like that, the Minotaur walked in front. He followed. The little goblin's wooden club hit the Minotaur, but it didn't break the defense at all. And the Minotaurs, come and kill them one by one. Come and kill one pair. The Minotaur kills so many people that it surpasses the gods. Steven output, 0. As the Minotaur kills more and more, Steven finally confirmed that he was really fighting monsters and upgrading. Every white spot falls into the body. It will improve his physical fitness a little bit. Too little to feel. After a while, he clearly felt the difference. And the magic in the body. As the light points merge, more can be seen with the naked eye. When he was about to kill all the monsters, the Minotaur's summoning time is over. A total of half an hour. It took him 10 minutes to open the can. After coming in, he was stunned for 2 minutes. Fortunately, the goblin camp is just a trial map. There are not many monsters. Although the summoning time of the Minotaur is over, but there were only a few goblins left. Steven gritted his teeth, looking at the crystal staff in his hand. He swung it and hit the little goblin. A big headshot magician. After killing all the little goblins, Steven was teleported back. When I saw Ron again, forgot about the previous swearing. Instead, a blush appeared on his face. The hand holding the staff was still shaking slightly. It's so exciting. As a doctor, I have saved many lives. This was my first time killing a living being. After killing the goblin, the blood splattered on his body disappeared. But the physical improvement is still there. Luo, I. After a while, he finally calmed down. That trial map is actually real. It's so exciting. I really want to go in again. Ron smiled and shook his head. Don't do trials until your strength improves. There is a Minotaur this time. If you don't have the skills next time, you may be in danger. Steven calmed down. Nodding to Ron. You are right, I will tell you before the next trial. The little goblin is very weak, but it can also hurt him. There is no Minotaur. The first time he fights, he is likely to lose his strength and be killed. But I know it in my heart. But Steven was still a little disappointed. He wanted to teleport again. The feeling of actually fighting monsters and becoming stronger is so exciting. Even better than twin models at a night party. Steven needed time to digest today's experience. So, he left quickly. As soon as Steven left, Pepper wanted to say something. Ron closed his eyes to see her off. She opened her mouth and closed it again. Ron gave her a chance, but she didn't take it. She apologized to Ron and left in a hurry. Finally, they left. After everyone left, Ron opened his eyes, closed the shop, showered and changed clothes, then rubbed his hands. Sold 10 jars and got 10 chances to draw. He could draw anyone he wanted in the world. Draw successfully. Get Mjolnir. Ron. Mjolnir? Good stuff? Really good stuff? Can you draw this thing? If it meets Thor's Mjolnir. Thor, your hammer is female. Mine is male. The female one won't work when it comes into contact with the male one. He's such a familiar line. Ron shook his head. Throw away all those messy thoughts. Raise your hand and the hammer falls into your hand. The thunder power carried by the hammer is very strong. It is not weaker than when Thor beat the destroyer violently. But if that's all, Ron shook his head in disappointment. Compared with those big guys in the heavens and the worlds, Mjolnir is no different from a toy. Ron drew again, drawing successfully. Get the Emperor Armor. The Emperor Armor in Armor Hero? He has heard of this thing. Because he is not familiar with Armor Hero, so he doesn't know what the abilities of the armor are. Unexpectedly, he was actually drawn. Looking at the domineering golden armor in front of him, Ron nodded with satisfaction. Apart from anything else, at least he likes the appearance. As for the ability, you will know after trying it on. Do it when you think of it. Ron's mind moved. The Emperor Armor instantly merged. Feeling the powerful force in his body, Ron's face lit up. The Emperor Armor is worthy of the name Emperor. Such a powerful force. Just now, Mjolnir and the Emperor Armor were incomparable. Ron had a feeling. He was wearing the armor and could easily crush Mjolnir. Just like Hela. Ron was stunned. Level Godfather? Hela's strength is not as good as Odin. It's not far behind. However, looking at Hela's nonchalant appearance in the original book, maybe even at a weak point, she can crush Mjolnir. In this way, the strength is a little vague. But Ron was also very satisfied. Moreover, the Emperor Armor has no bloodline restrictions. It only has requirements for his physical fitness. As his own strength increases, the power of the Emperor Armor will also increase. And the upper limit of the Emperor Armor, there is no upper limit? Extraction successful. Obtained the Rusty Katana. Rusty Katana? Ron's eyes widened. He got 10 times more prizes than the jar, and he could also draw the tetanus blade? Damn, he didn't even deserve to be put up as a collection. He threw it aside with disdain. Drawing successfully. Obtained the Flame Dragon Armor. Ron. The lower level armor of the Emperor Armor. Like the Emperor Armor, there is no bloodline restriction. Anyone can wear it as long as he agrees. But the strength is far inferior to that of the Emperor. After learning about the Flame Dragon Armor, Ron put it aside. Drawing successfully. Obtained the Storm Sword. From the League of Legends world. But it is not the Storm Sword that Ron is familiar with. After the system extraction, it was transformed. This is a pure weapon. Just like Captain America's shield. It has unique characteristics. It is difficult to destroy, and it also grants the user the power of storm. Drawing successfully. Obtained Wild Strawberry. It can't be the wild strawberry he imagined, right? Ron still had a glimmer of expectation. He took out the wild strawberry. But when he saw that it was just an ordinary strawberry, he threw it directly into his mouth. TMD? This kind of broken thing can also waste his chance to draw. Drawing successfully. Obtained Bibidong's bear coat. Ron. This can also be drawn? He looked around. Well, fortunately, the doors and windows are closed. If this is seen by others, his reputation will be ruined. Looking at the little thing in his hand, Ron thought silently for a moment. Isn't it a pity to throw this thing away? Ahem, just keep it for the owner, put it away first. It's not good to leave it outside, if people see it. Yes, that's it. He found a delicate little box and packed Bibidongs up. After putting it away, Ron breathed a sigh of relief. Extraction successful? Get Diana Prince's black silk. Ron. He was silent again. This double score? Or does the system have any special quirks? That's right. This system is definitely not normal. He is not a system, but a good person. Help the owner keep it safe and find a box to put it in. Extraction successful? Get Superman template? Ron's eyes widened instantly. Superman template? Even if he is an ordinary Superman, he is still a supermodel. Super strength. Super speed. Super endurance. Supersonic flight. Man of steel. Thermal sight. Etc., etc. Ability is almost too numerous to count. There are even stronger forms above that. Ron extracted excitedly. Why hasn't anything changed? He clenched his fists, but his body did not become stronger. An impulse appeared in my heart. Let him open the door and stand in the sun. He blinked. Suddenly he slapped his forehead. How could you forget such an important thing? Superman is meant to absorb the energy of the sun. We need to renovate the store. It would be best to be able to absorb solar energy throughout the day. There is still one last drawn item that I haven't looked at yet. Ron glanced casually. Well, garbage. The first 10 consecutive draws are over. Very perfect. The integration of the Emperor's armor was released. Ron began to renovate the store. Just opened the door. You can feel your body absorbing energy quickly. He narrowed his eyes drunkenly. Another day full of expectations. I woke up early in the morning, in a good mood, and saw a beautiful woman taking a shower. The 2 meows are jumping around, and the cat below is floating in the wind. Ron happily opened the door to receive customers. The Emperor's armor was drawn. The Superman template was extracted again. It's a perfect match. There is nothing more exciting than being able to become stronger while lying down. And when you sell the can, you will get the number of draws. You may also draw a silver super or a gold super. This is life. As soon as Steven entered the door, he heard Ron humming. Luo, what song are you singing? Huh? Oh, Captain America's Patriot song. Steven was stunned. Is there this song? Doesn't it sound like English? Dialect. Steven, okay. Huh? The store has been renovated. He just asked casually. It would be nice if there was more sunshine in the store. His eyes casually passed over the hammer and sword on the wall. Have you eaten? Do you want to have some breakfast together? Ron took out his breakfast. Steven smelled the fragrance and sat down unceremoniously. Definitely, I came to see you before I had eaten. Kristen didn't even accompany me, but I really love you. So you must keep the jar for me every day. Speaking of Christine, Steven was beaming. It's not that he didn't accompany Christine. Rather, the improvement in physical fitness yesterday was in all aspects. Christine simply couldn't get out of bed this morning. This is the first time he has been so strong. Ron didn't believe any of his lies. She rolled her eyes at him. Don't worry, I'll keep it for you as long as you need it. Anyone who sells is selling. Steven is his brother. Without knowing anything about the jar, he took out $1 million without any hesitation. You know, S.H.I.E.L.D's famous Phil Coulson agent. This is the salary for 5 or 6 years. Lo, you are indeed my best friend. Only then did Steven eat breakfast with peace of mind. Just, look at the way Steven looks at the jar from time to time. Ron raised an eyebrow. I tested it and asked. How about opening the can first? Steven put down the food directly. Good. Skillfully took out the card. Swipe your card. How many to buy? Ron asked. Definitely, 3 come first. How could he give such a good thing to others? This is not impossible. He can't afford to be injured even if he pays 1 million a day. Ron smiled and got him 3. It doesn't matter how many. It doesn't matter if it doesn't sell. Emperor armor plus Superman template. What else is he not satisfied with? Steven's eyes were fixed on the jar. Can't wait to pick up the golden hammer. Good morning, Mr. Luo. At this time, Pepper and Happy walked in. He hurriedly said hello to Ron. When heading to Stark Building in the morning, I saw Ron hadn't opened the door yet. She arranged her work first. After arranging work, I accidentally saw the door open. He quickly went downstairs and went straight to the store. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Steven about to open the jar. His expression darkened. She hurriedly but it was still a step too late. Doctor Strange. Steven nodded. Miss Potts. After going back yesterday, he made a point of getting to know Pepper Potts. Then I realized she was in Stark. Turns out to be a pretty important role. It can be said that Tony Stark can do without anyone, but she cannot be missing. Tony disappeared and she kept urging people to find him. So he could understand Pepper's desire for the jar. Understanding is understanding. It is impossible for him to give in. He is neither short of money nor famous. Whether Stark dies or not, his world will turn as well. Keep opening the jar. Steven picked up the hammer and gave it a click. Crack. A white light comes on. Item, rusty tie sword. Level, white. Note, the famous tetanus blade requires breaking the defense. Ron. Why has this remark been changed? He seemed to be teasing him in his heart yesterday. Online question, is it possible to sue the system for plagiarism? Let's start with, rubbish. Steven looked depressed. Luo, why is there so much garbage in your jar? You can't put some good things, like crystal staffs and dance of light bracelets. By the way, the light of the crystal staff is blue, so it is better than the white one. The information also specifically states the level, blue. No, the professional scroll is also white. Career scrolls allow people to gain super abilities. How could it be garbage? Ron shook his head. The items in the jar are divided into 7 levels. Hearing Ron's words, Pepper couldn't help but peek up her ears and listen carefully. White, blue, green, purple, pink, gold, colorful. Professional scrolls are indeed only white level. It just gives you a threshold to achieve ability. How to improve? You still need to work hard on your own. And the crystal staff is not. It can directly improve your strength, even if you are an ordinary person. Ron made it very clear. It also lets Steven know that white is only the lowest level. But he won't look down on white items because of this. Many times, it's just because you can't find the threshold. If you can't even get in, how can you improve? This is the truth. But when I think about it, the best thing I have developed is second rate. Steven felt very sad. Look at the last jar. My requirements are not high. I don't need colorful ones, just gold ones. I don't mind pink ones either. Ron, what's the use of just praying? Jade Emperor, the Queen Mother is shouting? It really doesn't work. So can God and Odin. If others don't tell me, just borrow the luck of the Ancient One Magician. She definitely wouldn't mind. Crack. The hand lifts and the hammer falls. Steven stared closely at the jar. Only a rich purple light was seen. Ron's eyes widened. Is this okay? Purple, the 4th level, is already quite high. Wow, thank you, Luo. You are indeed my good friend. Steven looked at the item information excitedly. Item, Magic Portal, Skill Card. Level, Purple. Note, the most basic magic of Camartage is a magic that all novices must master when getting started. But it has potential far beyond basic magic. It turned out to be this. Ron's eyes showed surprise. This is the magic that Steven mastered after he almost froze to death. Don't look at Camartage, almost everyone can do it. But his upper limit. It was fully demonstrated in Avengers Alliance Season 4. Teleportation distance comparable to Bifrost. Far more flexible than Bifrost. As long as there is enough energy, you can open wherever you want in the entire universe. Go wherever you want. Open as much as you want. Teleport as many people as you want. The bulge is just outrageous. The only thing that can't be compared is Bifrost's ability to attack. The portal only exists for the moment it closes. It has the effect of space cutting. With the experience of the first 2 times, Steven took off the card himself and silently said use. Watch the cards turn into points of light and merge into your body. Steven's mind suddenly found a way to release the portal. Thinking of his own bedroom, he raised his hand and drew it. There was a spark, and a circular portal appeared in front of him. Directly opposite is my bed. Kristen was still asleep on the bed, sleeping in a sprawled position, mainly because I had nothing on me except a blanket. Ron, 0. Is this something I can see? Steven, #Luo, close your eyes. He quickly cancelled the spell. Fortunately, there is also a blanket. Otherwise, he will suffer a big loss. Luo, what did you just see? Ron blinked. It's not like I've never been to your bedroom before. Why did you close it so quickly? Steven looked closely into Ron's eyes. See the eyes full of doubt and purity. He breathed a sigh of relief. It's okay if you didn't see it. Christine, who was sleeping, opened her eyes in confusion. Is that you, Steven? Did she seem to hear Steven's voice just now, shouting, Luo, Ron? Christine shook her head. I must be dreaming. However, I actually dreamed about them both. Hiss. No, I only love Steven. Crack. The third jar. Not surprisingly, it's a piece of trash. 300,000 in exchange for a purple level skill. Steven was very satisfied. At least, the magic power in the body has been put to some use, right? As for the double reward for 10, he felt like his luck had run out today. Twice the trash is still trash. See 7 more jars on the shelf behind the counter. Pepper's face lit up with joy. Doctor Strange, can you give me those 7 jars? You can open it whatever the conditions are. Steven frowned. A trace of dissatisfaction flashed in his eyes. You asked the wrong person. The jar is Luo's, not mine. Ron is right in front of him. Ask him. Besides, Ron gave her a chance in the first place. Don't want it yourself, now? Pepper looked at Ron and was about to speak when Ron raised his hand to stop her. Want to buy a jar? Pepper was stunned for a moment, then nodded quickly. Yes, Ron, I can sell it to you, but I have a request. Pepper looked happy. I'm not afraid that there are no conditions, but I'm afraid that Ron won't mention it. There is hope if you mention it. You say, after rescuing Tony, buy this street and put my name on it. The words Ron opened his mouth made Steve's eyes widen. Good guy? What does it mean for a lion to open its mouth wide? Where is this? Manhattan is the center of New York. And this is the center of Manhattan. Every inch of land is valuable. Ron's capital is only enough to buy 1 store. What's more, it's a street. It was hard for Pepper, but for Stark Industries as a whole, it's much simpler. Wait until Tony returns. Stark will go into rapid development. Not to mention 1 street, you can buy half of Manhattan. Pepper noticed another meaning in Ron's words. Rescue Tony? You mean, Tony is still alive? Her whole body tensed and her eyes lit up. It's as if the soul has been reinfused. I did not say, Ron said casually. Anyway, if you agree to my terms, I'll sell it. If you don't, I'll get it. At the moment, Pepper had Ron's request in her mind. All of it was that Tony was still alive, waiting for her to save him. Okay, I agree. Steven sighed when he saw this. It's really fast to make money with super ability. Pepper skillfully swiped his card to pay. I watched Steven pay eagerly every day. Ron put 7 jars on the counter. You are familiar with the process. Smash it. What comes out depends on your luck. Tony, I will find you. Pepper took a deep breath and suppressed her rapidly beating heart. The hand lifts and the hammer falls. Crack. Pepper immediately stared at the jar. His eyes were full of expectation. Look at the white light that comes on. First class. His eyes dimmed slightly in anticipation. But when I think about it, there are also good things in the white light. Quickly look at the item information. Item, rotten wooden stick. Level, white. Ron didn't need to explain. Pepper understood. This is trash among trash. Damn it. Pepper quickly adjusted her mood and looked at the remaining jars. Next 4 in a row. It's all rubbish. Stop talking about Pepper. Even Steven is wondering. Could it be that Ron had tampered with this? How could anyone have such bad luck? But his relationship with Ron. Don't say Ron didn't do anything. Even if he moved, he would still stand by Ron. Ron was unmoved. He never did anything. It's determined by the system. It all depends on luck. If it can't be opened, it's just bad luck. What's there to say? At the moment, the light in Pepper's eyes was no longer as bright as before. Take a deep breath. Smashed the remaining 2 cans. Click, click. 1 white and 1 green. Pepper was prepared to gain nothing. But when you see the green light on, she almost jumped up in surprise. The light faded. White, garbage, skip it. Green. Item, rescue armor. Level, green. Note, a steel armor whose entire body is made of vibranium and made of nanotechnology. Isn't this the suit of armor worn by Pepper Potts in Avengers Alliance 4? Although the armor looks very thin, can be made with vibranium for the whole body. Even with Thanos' defense, he would have to slash several times to break through the defense. Looking at this familiar armor, Ron blinked. Didn't wait for Tony to deliver. 10 years ahead of schedule. Was it opened by Pepper? Does this count as cutting off Tony? Mr. Ron, will it help find Tony? Pepper looked at this sci-fi style armor. He looked at Ron anxiously. Ron regained his sigh. It works. This armor has a flight speed that far exceeds the speed of sound. It has simple artificial intelligence. As for its function, you just put it on and artificial intelligence will guide you. As he spoke, Ron pointed at the armor. The rescue armor card slowly floated towards Pepper. The moment he came into contact with Pepper, The armor is like water. Quickly cover the whole body from the chest. In the blink of an eye, an iron woman appeared in the store. Looking in the mirror in the store, Pepper looked at herself in the armor. He looked dazed for a while. Blue armor. Reminds her of the long blue dress Tony gave her. Miss Pepper Potts, the rescue armor is pleased to serve you. A soft female voice sounded in the armor. Pepper came to her senses. Know that this is the intelligence system of the armor. Tell me about the function of the rescue armor. Okay. The armor comes from Mr. Ron. After unknown reasons, the energy will never be exhausted, and the armor will automatically recover after being damaged. In the atmosphere, it has a flight speed of 10 times the speed of sound. Has full function radar scanning, stealth, energy beam. Listen to the description of artificial intelligence. Pepper didn't know how powerful this armor was. Way ahead of its time. It is impossible for anyone to make it decades or even hundreds of years later. Don't say anything else. She works as Tony's assistant. You know that Stark Industries has the world's top scientific research institutions. Stark's technology is more than 10 years ahead of the world. As for nanotechnology, Stark doesn't have any. This is especially true for energy sources. Even the arc reactor running in the Stark building can't compare. With this armor, she was finally sure to find Tony. Mr. Ron, I've taken note of your conditions. I'll cash it in as soon as I save Tony. Thank you, Ron excitedly. Pepper turned and left. Have happy drive to a deserted place. Happy, I'm going to find Tony. Don't contact me if you have nothing to do, and don't contact me if you have something to do. The smart system turns on the stealth function. Soaring into the sky, heading towards Afghanistan. Luo, are you still talking about whether you value S*X over friends? Stephen was very dissatisfied. I opened 13 jars and took a look at what I opened. Look at Pepper again. Just 7 jars. His strength directly beat him. That sci-fi style armor is simply every man's dream. No matter how old you are. As long as they are men, no one can look at it without drooling. Ron spread his hands. I really didn't put it there. Everything in there is random. Even I didn't know what was inside before I smashed it. Stephen raised his face. I won't listen. I don't believe it. I need compensation. Stephen smacked his lips. Christine and I have a date today. We need a good wine for the candlelight dinner. You can drink the drinks in the store, but you cannot take them. Take out wine. No matter how good it tasted before, it will change its taste. Worse than urine. Unless Ron agrees. Don't ask him why he knows. He won't tell. Ron shook his head speechlessly. Here, 2 bottles of Baywa Brewing. It has a floral scent, which is more suitable for a date. Luo, you are so kind. Stephen quickly put away the potpourri brew. Ron. Stephen suddenly bared his teeth. You are such a good friend to me. Ron, Stephen, you have changed. You are no longer the wise, mature, and safe Doctor Strange. It's like a joke now. Is it because he is several years younger? It's so hidden, it should be right here. On the other side, Pepper arrived in the Middle East in just 3 hours. We visited almost the entire desert. Finally, in a mountain COL, found a terrorist base. Standing in midair, the intelligence system automatically scanned the situation below and displayed it before her eyes. Look at the enlarged screen. Pepper's pupils shrank. 3 warehouses, stacked with hot weapons. And all are thermal weapons made by Stark. At this moment, she was even more sure. Tony's disappearance must be related to them? In the cave, Tony, who has lost a lot of weight, is assembling a suit with Ethan. I have been working with the terrorists for more than 2 months. Finally, today, their preparations were completed. As long as the armor is assembled. Just this bunch of little thieves with no military qualifications. He punches one. Ethan helped Tony put on the armor with difficulty. What do I do now? Tony looked at the computer. Go start the power program. Press F11, press Ctrl+I when you see the progress bar, and then press enter. Ethan finished the operation sweating profusely. What's next? Tony breathed a sigh of relief. Next, when the progress bar ends, you will follow me. Ethan listened to the sounds approaching quickly outside. I know, but I guess we're too late. It will take a while to start. They wore the armor for a long time. Therefore, they did not appear under surveillance for a long time. They attracted the attention of the terrorists. They sent people to inquire. They were killed by the bomb they installed on the door. Now all the guards have been completely alarmed. They don't have much time left. No, there is no time. So, Ethan picked up the gun of the guard who was just killed. He looked at Tony. I'll buy you some time. Tony's face changed. Follow the plan, Ethan. Ethan is just a scientific researcher. Going out is sending. However, the armor has not been activated yet. Tony can only watch Ethan rush out. Come on. I'm going to kill you. Ethan took the gun. He rushed out with a shout, and closed his eyes and shot. Why is there no movement? Did I kill them all? Ethan opened his eyes in confusion. There was no one in front of him. At this time, gunshots continued to be heard from behind the corner. Soon, the gunshots became intermittent. It seemed that the person who fired the gun was being killed quickly. Bang, bang, bang. Heavy footsteps sounded from behind. Man, I'm glad to see you're still alive. Ethan looked back at Tony in the armor. His face was excited. It seems that these guys have been beaten up. They don't have time to bother us. Let's take the opportunity to rush out. Tony's voice came from the armor. Man, follow the plan. Follow me and make sure no one comes out again. Ethan's rushing out alone just now scared him. He really thought that his benefactor and friend died just like that. He would feel guilty for the rest of his life. This time Ethan didn't try to be brave again. Okay, it's up to you, Tony. There was no way just now. He didn't buy time. When the others rushed in, the armor hadn't started yet. They both had to die, although he would be at risk of death if he went out. But Tony would definitely survive. More than 2 months of getting along. He had been conquered by Tony's personality charm. Tony refreshed his perception of playboys and wealthy people. Using his life in exchange for Tony's life, it's worth it. Ethan followed Tony carefully. As they got closer and closer to the battlefield, the gunshots became less and less frequent. It seemed that only a few people were left alive. And these sporadic gunshots, they also stopped abruptly in an instant. Tony stood at the intersection, looking vigilantly at the corner ahead. It seemed that there was a beast that devoured people hiding there. It was slaughtering at a very fast speed. Listening to the intervals between the gunshots, Tony quickly calculated in his brain. He found that he was wearing armor. In terms of killing speed, he couldn't even beat the other party. At this time, footsteps came from the corner. The footsteps were strange. It sounded very fast and seemed very urgent. However, the time interval between each step was almost the same. It was like a robot running fast. Listening to the sound getting closer and closer, Tony raised his weapon and told Ethan to hide. At this moment, his eyes blurred. A blue figure appeared at the corner. Just one glance, and Tony was stunned. It turned out to be a full-body armor? What happened outside in the past 3 months? Aliens invaded? How come it seems like the past 30 years? This kind of armor that combines science fiction and beauty. It actually appeared in front of him like this? He was still complacent about the armor he built in the cave. As a result, someone outside was decades ahead of him. In a daze, he even forgot to attack. He just held his weapon blankly. And the person opposite was Pepper, who came to rescue Tony. After Pepper found that this place was full of Stark Industries weapons, she determined the target. She knew she was not good at fighting, so she directly ordered the artificial intelligence to kill all the terrorists who attacked her. The artificial intelligence immediately showed her the horror of the armor. As soon as she raised her hand, there was an energy beam. She was attacked from behind. The back armor opened directly, transformed into 4 wings. The wings shot out beams like wings. In a breath, all the enemies that rushed out were killed. She didn't think about whether Tony would be injured by mistake, because Tony was captured, and he was injured. How could he appear in front of her and be injured by the armor by mistake? Any exposed or unexposed enemy, all were clearly visible in front of the thermal imaging. For those guys who hurt Tony, Pepper didn't spare any. And when the armor killed all the enemies that rushed out, the thermal imaging showed that there were still 2 standing at the corner. One of them hid behind the other. The one in front was a little strange. He seemed to be standing a few dozen centimeters above the ground. But Pepper didn't care. The armor that was opened in the jar was far more powerful than she thought. It was like a tiger entering a flock of sheep. So, she decisively rushed towards the 2. This time she ordered the armor to capture the victims alive. She needed someone to lead the way to find Tony. Huh? After turning the corner, I saw the simple armor. Pepper was slightly startled. But then, she saw the microreactor on the chest of the armor. Very familiar. In an instant, Pepper thought. The one in the Stark building. As expected, you caught Tony. Pepper immediately became angry. The figure flashed and came to the other party. Say, where is Tony? He grabbed the visor of the simple armor. With a slight force, the visor was pulled off. How dare you hurt Two? Thanks, Tony. Look at the face under the visor. Pepper was stunned. At the moment, Tony also recognized Pepper's voice. This familiar voice made him stunned. Pepper, are you Pepper? You can obviously come out. Why don't you go back? Finding Tony, Pepper excitedly opened her visor. Opening his arms, he was about to hug Tony. When I think about myself, I am just a subordinate. He had no name or status, so he paused quickly. The excited expression on his face also calmed down a lot. I thought you were dead and I would have to find a new job. Tony was numb at the moment. His eyes were always on Pepper's blue armor. Who could notice Pepper's expression? Just watch Pepper crush his visor. In front of Pepper's armor, his newly named Mark I. Crisp as paper. Pepper, what are you doing? How could Pepper have the heart to tell him this? Let's talk about it when we go back. If we don't go back, Stark Industries will change our last name. With Obi here, Stark Industries will not. Tony was mid-sentence when he suddenly remembered. These terrorists all use weapons manufactured by Stark. You're right, I do have a lot to do. Then let's go. Wait, Pepper. Tony called to Pepper. He turned around and waved. Ethan, come out. This is my assistant. She came to save us. Even if she didn't come, we could still get out. Seeing Tony still arrogant, Pepper rolled her eyes and didn't reply. Just stare at that silently. Bald man emerging from behind a stone. Tony introduced the 2 of them. This is Pepper, my personal assistant. This is Ethan, my savior. Pepper was startled. He tapped his chest twice with his fingers. The armor turned into nanoparticles like water and was quickly recovered. Tony's savior. Pepper needs to be respected. It's so disrespectful to wear armor and talk to each other. And this scene once again stunned Tony. Is this nanotechnology? Is this nanotechnology? Who can tell me what is going on outside? Until the end of Pepper's conversation with Ethan, I have learned about it for more than 2 months. What happened to Tony? Tony hasn't come to his senses yet. Pepper tapped her chest twice again. The armor once again covered his whole body. Tony, this is my dream. Powerful and convenient. Originally, I still lacked ideas for improving the armor. Now, all the ideas have been opened up by Pepper's armor. Him, Tony Stark? Also make one like this. No, a better armor than this? After all, the outside world is like this. How can he highlight his wisdom by making another armor of the same level? He is a genius inventor. But who made this? There is actually a wisdom that is not inferior to his. Seeing that Tony has been stunned, he couldn't wake up even if he screamed. Pepper thought Tony had damaged his brain. Just pick up Tony with the suit attached. Walk towards the outside of the cave. Out of the cave. See your posture. Tony blushed slightly. Pepper, let me go. I'm going to destroy all these weapons. Pepper didn't listen to Tony. Instead, he took them to a distant hillside. Let me do it. Dr. Ethan has no protection. Shrapnel from the explosion could have injured him. Pepper flew into the air. Fire coverage was provided against the terrorist base. It looked like the firepower of an armored division. There is also a constant source of energy beams. Tony was obsessed again. Dream love. SHIELD. Watch Tony's video. There's also a report from Phil Coulson. Nick Fury's one eye was full of doubts. Tony Stark's assistant, Pepper Potts, came back from Afghanistan with him. But there is no record of her leaving the country. And, a few hours ago, she was in New York. A few hours later, she appeared at a military base in the Middle East with Tony. How can this be? You know, New York to the Middle East. It takes at least 10 hours to fly. A couple of hours. Not only did he travel tens of thousands of kilometers, but he also found Tony? Nick Fury looks at Phil Coulson. How did Pepper Potts respond? Phil Coulson spread his hands with helplessness on his face. Boss. Nick Fury rubbed his temples with a headache. In this capital-first country, if you have money, you are a master. And Tony Stark is the eldest among the eldest. As long as you pay your taxes on time, no one will be fined. Nick Fury threw the file on the table helplessly. These guys just want to make money. Never knew how great Nick Fury was. How much have you sacrificed to protect this Earth? I just want to cause trouble for him. Have Agent Natasha Romanoff enter Stark Industries to investigate. Let her find out about Pepper Potts. Tony Stark can't ignore him. That's Howard's son. So, the Pepper Potts situation has to be clarified. Phil Coulson nodded. Okay, I'll go and notify Agent Romanoff right away. Nick Fury, also, you cooperated with Natasha Romanoff regarding Tony's kidnapping. We must investigate clearly. Phil Coulson responded, turned, and left. Extraction successful? Get explosive bomb? Just started the second 10-draw streak. Just open the door and open the door to garbage. Explosive bombs are bigger than grenades. But it's about as powerful as a grenade. For Ron, it was of no use at all. Extraction successful? Get grit? Consumables from DNF. Another rubbish. Extraction successful? Get Gwen Stacy's little white socks? Ron. This is definitely an LSP system. As usual, find a box and put it away. Extraction successful? Get Superman's glasses? Weirded and tried it. Well, it doesn't make you handsome. Keep it as a collectible. With Mjolnir, hang on the wall. Extraction successful? Get Captain America's vibranium shield. Ron. He flicked it against the shield. Is this vibranium costing $10,000 per gram? It doesn't seem to be anything special. Forget it. Congratulations on adding another general to the collection wall. Extraction successful? Get Mjolnir? Ron? Can I get a second one out of this thing? He took a careful look at his newly acquired Mjolnir. Exactly the same? Exactly the same as the one before. So, what the system extracts is not the original item. But get a new one? Then he would be relieved. If Thor showed up, he would show up with an axe. How embarrassing it was to see Mjolnir on his wall again. But, put it this way. Those little white socks, it should be the same? Ahem. Extraction successful? Get life potion? Red potion from LOL. The effect is probably to quickly heal minor injuries. For injuries that are moderate or above, the recovery time is up to 1/3. It's also useless stuff. Ron put it aside. Extraction successful? Get Rusty Tato? Saw 2 more chances. Ron was a little speechless. 8 times, almost all of them useless. The quality of the items drawn this time was not as good as last time. As for the last 2 times, I don't know what I can draw out. Extraction successful? Get a hard wooden stick? Extraction successful? Get Wonder Woman's fishing net. Put it together with the black silk from last time. Ron was silent as he looked at the items extracted this time. Where did your luck go today? 5 days after Pepper rescued Tony, Stephen opened the jar for 5 days. Open 2 per day. A total of 10 were opened, except for 2 trial scrolls. The rest is all garbage. In view of the last extraction experience, this time saw Stephen's luck. Ron decided to avoid him. The number of draws obtained is saved first. Worry-free jar store. Stephen sat on the sofa, watching the TV broadcasting the safe return of billionaire Tony Stark. News of the decision to shut down the Stark Weapons Manufacturing Division. Looked at Ron in surprise. Is he really still alive? How do you know? You didn't arrange for someone to arrest him, right? Luo, don't worry. If you tell me the truth, I will never tell it. Roll. Ron rolled his eyes at him. Aren't you going on a date with Christine again? Go quickly. Stephen took a sip of wine happily. There's no such thing as a date in broad daylight. At night, in my big wilderness. A little candle, a rose. Then serve up a rich and exquisite meal. Finally, pour the Baywa brewing that you kindly sponsored. That atmosphere, that feeling, Kristen has to love me to death. Look, I haven't forgotten you. The love between me and Christine makes you feel involved. As he spoke, he shook the Baywa brew in his hand. What a sense of participation. You want to say that you will make a video of AS*X scene. I don't mind if you look back and appreciate it. Ron ignored him and lowered his head to take a sip of wine. Wine is spiritual wine. Like Ling Cha, the uplifting effect has been eliminated. Only warm nourishment is left. Definitely, Ron is not needed. He drinks it simply because the wine tastes good. Ron ignored him, but Stephen became more and more excited as he talked. Luo, you don't know. After you left, those ladies have been seeking information about you. Tisk tisk, I want to find you. Jingle bell? At this time, the door was pushed open. Excuse me, is Dr. Ron here? Dr. Ron. Isn't this title a sign of someone knocking on your door? The two of them followed the sound. See clearly who is coming. Stephen blinked and Ron breathed a sigh of relief. Not those noble ladies who can't handle burning. She is a young and beautiful girl. Beautiful face, smooth golden hair. She also has a good figure and fair skin. Everywhere shows God's favor. Her keen perception made her instantly aware that someone was looking at her. Big eyes looked over. Stephen shrugged and continued to drink with his head down. Only Ron, eye to eye with her, smiled at her. Welcome. However, there is no Dr. Ron here, only Boss Ron. Oh, sorry, then Gwen was about to say that she had made a mistake and was about to turn around and leave. Suddenly he was startled. Dr. Ron? Boss Ron? Isn't this a person? The big eyes blinked and looked at Ron suspiciously. He is actually as handsome as he heard. You are the psychiatrist Ron, right? Look at the cute Gwen. Ron nodded. That was a long time ago. I haven't been a doctor for a long time. Stephen, less than 10 days in total. Ron held out his hand. Please take a seat. If the beautiful lady needs it. I thought I could make a temporary cameo as a psychiatrist. Definitely, it would be better if you could buy a jar. Gwen hesitated. Still sitting across from Ron. My name is Gwen Stacy. Ron raised his eyebrows. Gwen Stacy? No wonder I walked into his store. You know, people who have no luck. Even if you know where his store is, you can't get in either. However, this Gwen seems a bit too beautiful. Although she is equally lovable in the original novel. However, the appearance is absolutely incomparable to the one in front of me. Moreover, he made no mistake. This Gwen's physique is a bit too strong. SpiderGwen? Ron looked at me so directly. Gwen's already restless heart was a little anxious. He pinched the corners of his jacket. Then he subconsciously touched the place where the radioactive infected spider had bitten him. Logically speaking, she should have been checked out in the hospital. But I have been looking at my recent changes. She was afraid of going to the hospital if anything was found. Something bad will happen to you. There are some things that even her father, the commissioner of the New York Police Department, cannot avoid. Inner uneasiness. And it drives her to find solutions. After learning about Ron, by some strange coincidence, he began to inquire about his information. Found Stephen's hospital. Finally found this place. Before seeing Ron, she is still in hesitation. In your own situation, is it really right to find a psychiatrist? But after seeing Ron, well, this idea remains unchanged. How can it be so magical that you can trust it unconditionally when you see it? The main theme is come here, give it a try. Ask for news about Ron. It was also because of her anxiety. It caused her to have some mental illness. More because of changes in the body. And a little confused and at a loss. Ahem. Stephen coughed twice. What's going on with these two people? We've been looking at each other for a long time. Are we looking at each other? Gwen came back to her senses and blushed slightly. Ron had a clear conscience and smiled candidly. Look at Gwen. I see confusion, anxiety, and uneasiness in your eyes. I think Miss Stacy came to me to find a solution, right? As soon as Ron finished speaking, Gwen suddenly looked at Ron blankly. There was longing and a hint of panic in his eyes. She is just an 18-year-old high school student. No matter how mature you are, you will still be at a loss when facing unknown things. Now let Ron hit the bullseye. Gwen was even more confused. The beautiful big eyes blinked and looked away unnaturally. Bytooth bit her pink lips. I don't know how to answer Ron's words. Seeing this, Ron became even more sure. Gwen just turned into SpiderGwen. I don't know what to do about my own changes. He leaned back slightly. Ron looked at Stephen. Professional ethics as a doctor. There should not be a third person present during psychological consultation. So, now, open your portal and leave immediately. Gwen was lost in thought and didn't realize the meaning of Ron's words. And Stephen reacted. He looked at Ron in surprise. And extended a hand. He pointed at Gwen and then at himself. After seeing Ron nod, he was finally sure. Ron really let her show her magic in front of Gwen. He took out his staff and waved it lightly. The portal appears. After Stephen walked over, he turned around and waved to the two of them. Have a nice conversation. Gwen, Sigma, OO*, huh. What is that? Draw a circle, and walk in. Ron looked at her little expression and smiled slightly. He saw the anxiety and confusion in Gwen's eyes. Therefore, this can be regarded as a means of enlightenment. After witnessing this magical scene, think about the changes in yourself. Not so nervous. After all, becoming Spider-Woman is a good thing. But Ron didn't expect it. He overeducated. It's just the two of us now. Don't worry, although I'm not a psychiatrist now, but the professional ethics of being a doctor are still there. No third person will know about our conversation. Look at Ron's smile. Gwen's big eyes blinked, swirling back and forth. She felt as if her anxiety was less severe, no longer confused. Mainly, it seemed like she saw something she shouldn't have seen. She even felt. At the moment Ron's smile was like a devil's smile. It seems to be saying, your body is very fragrant and your soul is delicious. Even the jar behind Ron. She felt it all. There must be a human soul inside. The legendary devil. Aren't they just men in suits and ties, deceiving humans? Look at what Ron is wearing. Gwen stood up with a start. Well, I don't have anything else to ask. Goodbye, Dr. Ron. Thank you for your help. After saying that, he left the jar shop as if he was running away. Until going out, he was not stopped, which made Gwen sigh in relief. Unexpectedly, this kind of existence is hidden in the world. Go all the way across the street. Only then did she dare to look back. I glanced at the door of the jar shop. Huh? Is that Tony Stark? Tony disappears and returns. It became a hot spot in New York. Now on the screens of major squares, they were all showing Tony's videos. Her current vision is absolutely unmistakable. One of those two people just now. Definitely Tony Stark? Could it be that Tony Stark also has a deal with the devil, etc.? Could it be that I am overthinking it? Dr. Ron, maybe he's not a demon? Is it a legendary magician unknown to the public? Portal. Sounds a lot like magic. And she didn't smell the legendary smell of sulfur. For a moment, Gwen felt a little regretful. Why should I leave in a hurry? Stay a little longer. Forget it, the store is here anyway, come back next time. How about asking Dad to check on him? Ron's smile came to mind. Gwen shook her head quickly. No, Dad can't fight him. Or she should come in person. She is very strong now. Jar shop. Ron was still wondering why Gwen left so suddenly. Tony and Pepper opened the door and walked in. Is your name Ron? There was only one person in the store. Tony saw Ron immediately. Fake? This Ron's looks. It's actually comparable to myself. Now I am in my 30s. But Tony felt. He can still be considered charming. Pepper frowned slightly and quickly tugged at Tony. Ron is too mysterious to mess with. Tony reached up and took the clothes out of Pepper's hands. Continue to glare at Ron. Ron glanced at him. Arrogant guy. Ignoring Tony, Ron looked at Pepper. What? Are you here in a hurry to fulfill your terms? Tony stood in front of Pepper, blocking Ron's view. What are the terms of redemption? Did you tell Pepper that I was still alive? How did you know? Are you with those bastards? Tony knew Ron wasn't. Otherwise, Ron wouldn't be able to help Pepper save him. This time, he wouldn't come to Ron with just Pepper. But he just wasn't happy. How could there be such a handsome guy in the world? He also threatened Pepper with him. He wants to reveal Ron's evil true face. Pepper pulled Tony behind her, glaring at Tony. We agreed before we came. Under Pepper's gaze, Tony's expression flashed. No more targeting Ron. As for Ron, he was actually curious. Regarding the steel armor, he was still just imagining it. Ron actually has such a perfect rescue armor here. In the past few days, he has only held press conferences. Just study the armor at home. Different from the original work. Pepper went to save him herself. I've seen the crude Mark I built by Tony, and he also has his own rescue armor. Not only does he not object to the armor, he also agrees with it. So, Tony's design can be seen at a glance. He also proposed to give Tony his rescue armor for research, but Tony's pride made him refuse. His wisdom is no worse than anyone else. He can make it too. Not inferior to the rescue armor, the steel armor. Seeing Tony calm down, Pepper took out a stack of papers and placed them on the counter. Mr. Ron, this is what you want. This street is yours from now on. Ron picked up the file and looked at it. It is the purchase document about this street. It has his name written on it. To buy an entire street would cost billions. But the name Tony Stark alone is worth the price. Besides, it's still him. Pepper also paid his taxes for him. Ron didn't really care about this. As long as the street is his, that's enough. IRS is indeed violent, but he is even more violent when he wears the Emperor's armor. Ron put the files away without any fuss. Nodding, very good. Tony raised an eyebrow. Eyes narrowed slightly. I heard what kind of jars you sell here and how much do they cost. Ron, it's $100,000 each. The items inside are random. It all depends on luck. Is it really $100,000? So cheap? Tony was stunned for a moment. He wanted to refute the doubt, but Pepper actually got the armor. Just Pepper's armor. At least several billion. Fake? Tony mentally slapped himself. Wouldn't it be nice to be cheaper? Buy it all yourself? Damn this BD. How many jars do you have here? I'll pay you $200,000 each, and I'll take them all. Ron, only 10 sold every day, 1 for 100,000. Tony, only selling 10. Who can buy it? How can anyone do business like this? Can't you put a few more in there? Okay, 10 is 10, I want them all. Ron flicked the card that Tony handed over. If you accept the 1 million, these 10 jars are yours. After being slightly stunned, Tony's eyes fell on Ron's hand. Looking at it carefully, Pepper told him about Ron's method of collecting money. He thought Ron had used some trick. But now when I look at it, it's just an ordinary hand. There is nothing on it. How did you do it? Ron handed over a small golden hammer. Smash it open with this. Tony looked away from Ron's hand. Pick up the hammer. Another ordinary hammer. Very light. It's like it's been painted with gold paint. No features at all. The jar was pitch black. I specifically looked inside. It was hard to see clearly, as if there was a layer of black fog blocking the view. Picked it up and weighed it. Very light. He raised the hammer and hit the jar hard. Crack. A white light comes on. Item, rusty tie sword. Level, white. Note: Tony's pupils shrank. This meter-long weapon. How is it placed in a 30 centimeters jar? He stepped forward and touched it. The counter is real, but where are the jar fragments? At this moment, he completely believed Pepper's words. Ron is very mysterious. Even if he believed it, everything here is inseparable from science and technology. However, with his wisdom, he didn't see any flaws. Ron was in a trance. Tony didn't ask Ron. He turned to look at Pepper. How about this thing? Pepper didn't look good. She has 6 in a row, all similar. It's just a rusty knife, useless. Rubbish? Tony nodded. The expression on his face didn't change at all. Just $100,000. He doesn't care if he throws it around for fun. He looked at the remaining jars. Twice in succession. Crack. Click. 2 more white lights. Item, old flintlock gun. Level, white. Note: Item, professional scroll. Level, white. Note: after use, you can choose a profession. After selection, a trial will be conducted. Occupations: ghost swordsman, sharpshooter, fighter, magician, priest. Pepper's eyes flickered when she saw the career scroll. This is for her. She was even more delighted than the armor. The gaping hole in Tony's chest. Use medical means to remove the shrapnel. There will be great surgical risks. In extraordinary ability, there is likely to be a risk-free method. Is this the scroll that Doctor Strange obtained that you mentioned? Doctor Strange. Now I need another title, magician. But Steven still likes to be called doctor. Because doctor and doctor are the same word. Magician and master are the same word. For arrogant people, degrees and titles are also their arrogant capital. Pepper nodded. It is this. After using it silently, you can choose one of the 5 professions. Use? Tony thought silently in his mind. Suddenly he saw the same scene as Strange. 5 figures deeply attracted his attention. Unlike Strange, with just one glance, his eyes fell firmly on the sharpshooter. The ultimate aesthetics of thermal weapons and mechanical violence? This is simply his favorite? Should you choose the professional sharpshooter? Yes? Tony suddenly felt that there was a magical energy in his body. Very few, but very real. His hands shook unconsciously. Tony's subconscious told him that he was missing a gun. Only with a gun can he show his professional strength. He even felt that he was inexplicably familiar with firearms now. But before, he was just an inventor. Not good at using firearms. Is this a career? There are 7 jars left. Tony smashed them all without hesitation, accompanied by constant clicking sounds. 7 rays of light lit up. 5 white and 2 blue. Item, round kick, skill card. Level, white. Note, basic physical skills, but it requires a certain degree of physical toughness. For a lifetime of sexual happiness, it is not recommended for beginners. Item, goblin hand bone. Level, white. Note: Item, rusty tie sword. Level, white. Note: except the first one is a skill card. The rest of the white grade is total garbage. The skill Culpepper has never been released. He could only look at Ron, looking forward to his explanation. Ron, the sharpshooter's physical skills, roundhouse kick. Just use it silently. Tony reached for the skill card. Use? The skill card turns into light points and merges into the body. The fighting method of round kick suddenly came to his mind. Tony felt like, if he wanted to, he can actually do such difficult moves. This involves the human brain and nerves. For a moment, he had an extra memory. It can no longer be explained by high technology. There was deep doubt in his eyes. But soon he no longer had any doubts. Item, new element concept plan. Level, blue. Note, the genius of the last century, Howard Stark's vision for new elements. It is also the valuable asset he left to his son Tony Stark. In fact, this idea is already possible. However, due to the technological environment at the time, it was impossible to turn the idea into reality. Tony? Ignore the last item. Tony's eyes were completely focused on that name. Howard Stark? His father? His eyes were fixed on Ron. This is fake. Ron raised an eyebrow. The item information is very clear, so I won't say more. As for whether it is true or false, you will know after you go back and try it. Also, here's a free tip for you. Your father is one of the founders of an organization with a long, stinky name. I forgot the specific name. You will recognize it when you meet him. Your father left something to you, and it's in this organization. What did my father leave to me? In this organization? Tony, why didn't they give it to me? Ron spread his hands. What do you think? Look on his face. Tony suddenly understood. His father, Howard, was a genius. For the things that geniuses purposely leave behind, Those guys, if they don't study things clearly, how can they hand them over? Tony was disdainful. Even if he doesn't like his father. But I have to admit that Howard is a genius who is not weaker than him. How can a genius idea be understood by a mediocre person? And the new elements are what he is looking for. Arc reactor on the chest. Already giving him symptoms of palladium poisoning. Dong dong. Ron knocked on the table. Okay, there's one last item left. This Chevy's name is Bumblebee, and he's a car guy. Take it and leave, I'm closing the door. All the cans are sold out today. Why is he keeping the door open? It would be great to close the door, bask in the sun, and quietly extract items. I have saved up 20 drawing opportunities. Ron couldn't wait any longer. Item, Sleeping Shapeshifting King Kong Bumblebee. Level, Blue. Note, exclusive to the Autobots of the Shapeshifting King Kong world and the planet Cybertron. Only then did Tony remember that there was another blue item. His father's idea was blue. A yellow car? Autobots? Forget it, it doesn't matter. He was not in the mood to ask for item information right now. Tony wanted to go back and study new elements. He just glanced at it and turned to leave. Pepper, goodbye, Mr. Ron. That yellow car, please park it at the door for me. I'll have someone pick it up later. Make things clear for Tony. Pepper quickly followed. Ron. Car? That's an Autobot. Fine. Ron shook his head and took off the smaller version of Bumblebee. He casually placed it on the roadside at the door. Bumblebee transformed into a normal car file size. Then close the store door and start the lottery? Take a bath and burn incense. Put up the portraits of the 3 pure ones and 4 imperial kings. The table is filled with tributes. Ron clasped his hands together and thought silently. Sand King bless you. Don't use rubbish, just get one at the level of the Emperor's armor. Sand King, how about we give ourselves to you? After chanting silently, Ron opened his eyes, 10 strokes in a row. Stark building. Tony was walking ahead and suddenly stopped. Turning to look at Pepper. You told me 2 days ago that a bald agent from the bureau came to see you. Pepper, it did. He said a very convoluted name. I don't remember, but he seems to be called Phil Coulson. It should be this, I'm not sure. This was the day Tony was rescued by her. At a press conference. This agent took the initiative to find her. It can make an impression on her. It was still because of her crowning hairline and her height, which was half a head shorter than hers. The agent also gave her a business card. By the way, she put it away instead of throwing it away. Thinking of this, she took out her small bag. He took out the business card. This is the business card he gave me. Looking at the business card, Tony's pupils froze. Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics, Support Agency. No wonder Ron said he couldn't remember, and said he would recognize me when he saw me. Indeed. Pepper, help me contact this agent. I want what belongs to Stark back. Pepper, okay. Responded behind Tony. At this time, she saw a newly recruited female assistant walking towards her. Burgundy hair. Not tall, but the figure is great. As for how great it is, just look at Tony. Even though I was in a hurry, I didn't forget to take a few more glances. Pepper frowned slightly. Natalie, go to the entrance of the worry-free jar shop opposite. Bring back the yellow Chevy that's parked there. After finishing speaking, he did not wait for the assistant named Natalie to ask clearly. Lift your legs and leave. Natalie should be called Natasha Romanoff. She blinked. Jealous women are terrible. He only told her the name of the store and asked her to pick up the car. Pepper asked me to pick up a yellow Chevy in front of a store called the Worry-Free Can store. Help me check the location of this store. Also call the surveillance outside this store. Natasha Romanoff hangs up the phone. After a while, the phone rang again. It's the address of Ron's store. It's not that far, only a few hundred meters away from the Stark building. Just turn a corner after passing this street. Natasha Romanoff simply walked. Check the owner's information by the way. Ron turns out to be a psychiatrist. Suddenly quit his job, opened a shop, and became friends with Dr. Stephen Strange. How can I put it? This information is unremarkable. At best, he is an ordinary rich man. After all, I can buy a house worth more than 100 square meters in Manhattan. Natasha Romanoff suddenly shrank her pupils. Not just one shop, but the entire street belongs to him? Time, yesterday. Funded by Stark. Pepper steps in to buy it and give it to Ron? At this time, Natasha Romanoff also came outside the store. Looking at the closed shop, she looked strange. This is still morning. Tony and Pepper came earlier and opened the door. Close the door when you leave? It's not a problem, that's what. I saw the yellow car at a glance. But she didn't step forward directly. Instead, he picked up his phone. Director, there is a message. Ron, the owner of the worry-free jar shop, may have a problem. I've already sent the message. Finished with Nick Fury. She then slowly walked up to Bumblebee. Looked carefully. Just an ordinary car. The only difference is that the materials of the car seem to be very good. Tony Stark's car, though, the material is better and normal. After confirming that there was no problem, Natasha Romanoff got in the car and started the engine. Driving to the Stark building. When Pepper gave the explanation before, he didn't say where to put it. She simply parked her car in the parking space in front of the building. Jade Leg stepped out of the car, walking into the building with enchanting steps. Drawing success. Obtained awkward wooden stick. Obtained Namikaze Minato's Kunao. Obtained Mark 1. Obtained lower level constitution potion. Obtained tailed beast Karema. Obtained Windhawk Armor Summoner. Obtained Wild Strawberry. Obtained Rami Flower and Leaves. Obtained Diana Prince's Hollow Stockings. Obtained Scorch Release Leaf Kang. Ron. He got up and picked the portraits of the 3 pure ones and the 4 Imperials. Damn, 10 consecutive draws and not a single good thing? Still want tribute? He picked up the banana and stuffed it into his mouth. Incense? I'll put it upside down in the incense burner for you. Table? Chop it up. Use it as firewood tomorrow. Garbage? It's all garbage. A broken wooden stick. A metal dagger. A battle armor made of scrap copper and iron. And some wild strawberries, Rami flowers, and leaves. Wonder Woman Diana's hollow stockings? How many pairs are these? A woman's stockings are placed on the table. What a joke. Put them away. Out of 10, these are 5, 6 useless. Lower level physical potion, oral, a small amount to increase physical fitness. It's quite useful. Ron raised his head and swallowed it. It probably increased physical fitness by 1 times, not bad. He also has a Wind Eagle Armor Summoner. Go and hang it with Yanlong? He already has the Emperor Armor. Does he still need the lower level armor? Open a small account? Make a vest? Boring? The nine-tailed fox in Naruto. It's useless, just treat it as a pet cat. Take out the nine-tailed fox. Fortunately it's the nine-tailed beast. The other tailed beasts are too ugly and they are disgusting as pets. As soon as it appeared, the nine-tailed beast heard Ron's words. Boy, I have to say that you still have some vision. But you are so disrespectful to me. You said I would kill you first and then eat you. Or I would just eat you directly. The nine-tailed beast looked up at Ron with its teeth bared. At first glance, it was stunned. It saw a golden armored face reflected in its pupils. It didn't know how to describe it. It only knew that even the Uchiha Madara and Senjo Hashirama, who it hated the most, were not as intimidating as this face when they were in full power. On the gold and silver metal helmet, the ruby-like crystal in the eye area also reflected its appearance. It was just that it was not the kitten-like body like now. It was its complete body. It was the strongest form like a hill. Its huge body was crawling on the ground, trembling all over. On its head, it was the domineering golden armor holding it. The armor stood in the void. A huge dragon was circling around it. The nine-tailed fox didn't know how strong the golden armored man was, but its sixth sense told it. Uchiha Madara and Senjo Hashirama's Susanoo Buddha. In front of this figure, it would definitely not be much stronger than it was in front of Senjo Hashirama. They were all controlled by one hand. Even the old man of the 6 paths. He didn't give it such a strong sense of oppression. The armored man suddenly spoke. From today on, you are called Xiaoju, nine-tailed fox. It was just about to make this sound. Suddenly, it had a bad premonition. It was as if it dared to call, the armored man would strangle it to death. His heart tightened and he nodded repeatedly. Okay, no problem, Xiaoju got it. After the nine-tailed fox answered, he felt a flash in front of his eyes. The golden armor turned into light and disappeared. Ron's body was revealed. Kyuubi blinked. This armored man seemed to become very weak without the armor. Indeed, Ron just basked in the sun for a few days. Now his own strength is almost comparable to that of Captain America. Looking down at it, Ron's eyes were deep. Are you thinking, I'm weak without the armor, do you want to take the opportunity to eat me? Kyuubi, oh. The corners of Kyuubi's mouth trembled in fear, and its tail was stretched straight. No, absolutely not. Ron nodded. No is good. He smoothed Kyuubi's frizzy tail. It feels good. Kyuubi, trembling, dare not move at all. Finally, there is a beautiful back. Scorch release Yaang. After Ron received Yaang, a heroic, upright, fair, slender, straight, trembling figure slowly emerged. Ron smacked his lips in his heart. Yaang, who is famous for his back, is this big. What about Tsunade, who is famous for her size? She is famous for being able to feed the whole village? Can she suffocate people to death? A real breast murder? I dare not think about it. I dare not think about it at all. But, can I really draw out characters from other worlds? Can I really draw out Tsunade in the future? Ron's eyes are getting brighter and brighter. The second dimension has entered reality. This is it. Yaang's body completely solidified. Subconsciously put on a fighting stance. However, she is not the fox who was imprisoned stupidly like Kyuubi. I noticed it the first time. There is an additional memory about Ron in my mind. It was Ron who brought her into this world. She belongs to Ron. Ron was the person closest to her. She didn't resent it. Because, at the moment she was betrayed by one of her own people. In the world of Naruto, there is no one left to miss her. Sir Ron. Relax your tense body. Put away the fighting stance. Yaang lowered his head to Ron. Ron looked at her from behind. Almost exposed to the front bear's clothes. He couldn't help but frown. Change your clothes. You can choose whatever you like. As Ron finished speaking, there are rows and rows of clothing of various colors in the store. The cold, the beautiful, the exotic. You can find them all. Yaang's eyes lit up. There is no woman who doesn't like beautiful clothes. It's the same in every world. I picked it up several times in a row, but I could hardly take it anymore. Only then did Yaang give up. Ron, you can live in any house on this street that you like, and if someone else is there, you can kick them out. Unexpectedly, he casually mentioned the conditions at that time. In the end, it turned out to be useful. What does this belong to? Unintentional? The beauty hidden in the golden house? There are 10 draws left. Ron is useless. Save first. Bad luck these past 2 days. Not suitable for extraction. He didn't believe it. He would be so rubbish next time if he smoked 10 times in a row. SHIELD. Boss, Tony has contacted me. He didn't know where he found out about his father, Howard. Ask for what Howard left behind. Phil Coulson reports to Nick Fury. Nick Fury narrowed his eyes slightly. Where do you know? The name Worry-Free Jar Shop instantly came to mind. They knew all of Tony's relationships. Only this jar shop was unfamiliar to them. Give it to him if he wants it. When a son wants something from his father, we have no reason to withhold it. Phil Coulson nodded. Okay, then I'll send it to him later. Nick Fury pulled out a stack of papers from under his desk. Put it in front of Phil Coulson. Go check him out. At the top is Ron's photo. Obviously, this is all about Ron. Phil Coulson took the information and looked at it. When seeing Stark buying a street and giving it to Ron, his expression was slightly startled. Is he Howard's illegitimate son? Why would Tony Stark give him a street? That's a street? The streets of Manhattan. $10 billion? The recent news about the closure of the weapons manufacturing department because of Tony Stark Industries shares plummeted. Tony actually shelled out such a large sum of money. Buy a street for Ron. He could think of no other reason than this. Could it be that Tony's sexual orientation has changed? After being kidnapped once, do you like men? Not to mention, he is indeed quite handsome. Nick Fury shook his head. I can't give you any other information. These were sent back today by Natasha Romanoff. The rest needs to be investigated by yourself. Phil Coulson, let me investigate? It's strange that a big boss with tens of billions of assets can pay attention to me, but it is the task of his immediate superior. I have to take it no matter what. Okay, I'll make arrangements for investigating Tony's disappearance. Go meet this Ron tomorrow. Nick Fury frowned slightly. Don't go, Pepper has seen you. Get a new face. Phil Coulson nodded. Okay. What rich people hate most is someone investigating them. It's okay to do it in secret. Everyone does it. But you have to show it openly. Then it's time to fall out. Phil Coulson leaves the office. Just think about the candidate in your mind. The best choice is still Natasha Romanoff. However, Natasha Romanoff is even more inconvenient than him now. Hawkeye Barton, he just shoots. His eyes suddenly lit up. There is one person who is suitable. Barbara Morse. Nicknamed Mockingbird. On the streets of Manhattan, Ron is taking Yaang to understand the world, even with injected memories. It's not as shocking as seeing it with your own eyes. A building hundreds of meters high, a wide variety of cuisine, and that unlimited supply of water. Even water is graded and made into a variety of drinks. Yaang, suck. It's ice cold and delicious. Shopping for a long time, Yaang discovered something. Sir Ron, everyone here seems to be ordinary people. No, their physical fitness is not as good as that of ordinary people in the ninja world. Ron nodded. Yes, 99.9% of this world is made up of ordinary people. But there are also many strong ones. Yaang's expression became serious. I will protect Master Ron. Ha ha ha. Ron smiled. If you want to protect me, your current strength is not enough. Not enough? Yaang's strength is close to the shadow level. She doesn't think anyone in this world is her rival. Unless it's a missile bombing. Otherwise, whether it is grenades or shells, she felt like she could resist. There's just a chance of injury. However, she still nodded obediently to Ron's words. Show understanding. Then, he stared straight at a colorful ice cream. Blinking his eyes, he swallowed. It seems delicious. Ron smiled. Stepped up and bought one for her. Whatever you want to eat is available in the store, and it tastes better than what's served outside. Sir Ron, you don't understand. Eat while shopping. Definitely eat while shopping. Yaang narrowed his eyes happily. Stick out your tongue and lick the ice cream. She was only a few years older than Kakashi. Put it in this world. Still a girl enjoying college life. But in the ninja world, she was already dead. 20 years. For the first time, she knew what it felt like to be pampered and enjoy life. Spent the afternoon shopping. Had dinner outside. The two returned to the store. Yaang held the things Ron bought for her. Ready to go back to the home of her choice. She looked back at Ron before leaving. Sir Ron, do you need a massage before going to bed? I have a unique secret massage technique, sauna massage. Also sauna massage. He is not afraid of Jodan drying him out. Ron's mouth twitched. Go back and have a good rest. Remember to come on time for breakfast tomorrow. Great. Yaang curled his lips. See you tomorrow morning, Lord Ron. Ron looked at Yaang's back and breathed a sigh of relief. It only takes one time for the second dimension to shine into reality. He was really afraid that he wouldn't be able to control it anymore. While shopping, Yaang saw another girl carrying a boy on her arm. She also reached out and took Ron's arms into her arms. That indescribable touch. Although it is unforgettable, but Ron still likes to do it in places with few people. Not suitable for crowded places. Little Ron rebels easily. Turn off the lights and go to bed. Zaiju, come here and warm the bed. Kuabai, hey. Holding a bunch of stuff. Back to my new home just next door. Yaang looked at the strange but empty room. He sighed leisurely. A new world, a new life? Sir Ron. Good morning, Sir Ron. The next day, Yaang was waiting at the door early. As soon as Ron opened the door, he saw her. His brows wrinkled slightly. This is not the ninja world. There's not that much fighting. Don't stress yourself too much. All you have to do now is enjoy life. When Pepper Potts comes, I'll ask her to get you an identity. Then you go around the world and travel. Ron could tell right away. Yaang was tense both mentally and physically. Maintain a posture ready to enter combat at any time. As the person who brought Yaang into this world, he is Yaang's parent. Not only should we provide material help, but we should also provide spiritual help. Thinking of this, Ron rubbed his eyebrows. Sure enough, the second dimension cannot be brought into reality too much. There are too many and it's really troublesome. All have their own character. What if I get someone like Uchiha Obito? Obito, I want to create a world with Lin. He had a headache. Yaang's eyes dimmed slightly. Okay, Master Ron. Looking at this expression, Sir Ron doesn't need me. Ron had even more headaches. I'll take you out tonight and let me see your strength. When facing ninjas, strength still has to speak for itself. Tonight, I will beat Yaang over and over again. You should be obedient tomorrow. Looking at Yaang's expression of expectation, he sat down obediently and ate his breakfast in small bites. Ron thought to himself, will I be using the Emperor armor or the Flame Dragon armor tonight? If you use the Emperor's armor, you are afraid of scaring Yaang. But he hasn't worn the Flame Dragon armor yet. Forget it, let's talk about it then. He has just finished breakfast. Steven showed up on time again. Oh, what did I see? Luo actually had breakfast with a beautiful lady again. Does the sun rise from the west today? Steven put his hands over his eyes, looking funny at the sun in the sky. Ron looked at him. Eat something. Steven lowered his hand. I've eaten. Give me a jar first. Steven started to hold out 2 fingers. Slowly, hard, and reluctantly take one back. Ron looked at him with disgust. Why are you acting like this? It's only 100,000. To you, it's just the price of a few bottles of wine. Besides, since I opened the store, have you ever spent money on drinking? Ron, you said you won't spend your money on me. Who are you going to leave it to? For those model girls who are so burned. Am I not as good as them? Steven rolled his eyes. That's enough, Luo. It's not like your jars can't be sold. Would you like me to help you promote it? It will definitely be full of customers tomorrow. Give all the money to Ron. What about Christine? Compared to the original work, his progress with Christine in this world, it can be described as rapid. We stay together for 2 days from time to time. We have reached the stage of discussing marriage. He had to prepare the money to marry Christine. Publicity? Full? Ron shook his head. No amount of ordinary people can enter his store. After eating, Ron introduced Steven to Yaang. Yakura, this is my friend, Steven Strange. After you finish your meal, go behind the counter and get him a jar. By the way, charge him $100,000. This is my new employee, Yaang. After introducing Steven, Ron introduced Yaang to Steven again. Steven leaned into Ron's ear. Where did you recruit such beautiful employees? You weren't the one who kidnapped me, were you? Ron blinked but said nothing. Really need to count. It's really no different from being kidnapped by him. Ron didn't say anything. A default expression. Steven was stunned. Holy crap, Luo, you are so awesome. Yaang's strength, such a close distance. No matter how quiet he was, it was no different than shouting in her ear. Take the jar and place it on the table, he said solemnly. It was Sir Ron who saved me. Ron, still an adult? Steven was completely shocked inside. It's just been a day since I saw Ron. Why does it feel like half a century has passed? If Yaang were an ordinary beauty, that would be fine. A veteran like him. At the same time, you can see the difference between Yaang and other women in ordinary times. The heroic spirit in Yaang's body. Not to mention women, it is rare even on men. Shaking his head, Steven didn't ask any more questions. As a friend, Ron wanted to tell him. Even if he doesn't ask, he will tell. So don't embarrass your friends. Pick up the hammer and look expectant. I haven't found anything good in a long time. Yaang, I wish you good luck. Steven was smiling. Thank you. Your Lord Ron, give me more good things, it will be more effective than any blessing. After saying that, he no longer looked at Yaang, whose face was slightly red. Steven raised and lowered his hammer. Crack. Look at the blue light that lights up. Steven was immediately happy. Luo, I love you. Ron, get out. Mr. Ron, Dr. Strange, good morning. Pepper also rushed over at this time. I'll buy the jar for Mr. Stark. It looks like I'm late again. Looking at the blue light in front of Steven, Pepper looked regretful. After she finished her work, she rushed here. Hurry up, but you're still a step too slow. As soon as she finished speaking, she saw 9 jars on the shelf. Pepper's face suddenly lit up with joy. She didn't think Ron's jars wouldn't sell. Don't say anything else. Just her armor. Full body made of vibranium. Although Tony said he didn't want to study it. But scanning is not research. When material is detected, Tony was shocked. Only then did Pepper know. Vibranium, the cheapest is $10,000 per gram. This is still priceless. Most people can't buy it even if they want to. I even bought 100,000 grams per gram on the black market. Her body contains hundreds of kilograms of vibranium. The amount of light materials is at least billions, not to mention the energy and technology above. After all, don't look at them giving Ron a street. In fact, there is no loss at all. Mr. Ron, did I buy the remaining jars? Ron looked at Steven. Are you still buying it? Steven felt warm in his heart and waved his hand. In front of Pepper, Ron didn't shy away, obviously giving him a backdoor. Where can I find such friends? Ron nodded. Old rules, swipe your card. By the way, this is my assistant Yaang. If I'm not around from now on, you can come to her if you need anything. By the way, could you please help her get an identity document? Assistant? Pepper looked at Yaang carefully. Suddenly a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. As a woman, still Tony Stark's assistant. I helped Tony clean up the trash and met many beauties. But Yaang has both temperament and good looks. This was her first time seeing it. Pepper held out her hand. Hello, Miss Yaang. Yaang reached out and shook her hand. Hello, Pepper Potts. Ron introduced. Yaang, hello, Miss Potts. I'll get you a jar. Yaang was a little wary of Pepper. After all, it had been 2 days. The first woman who appeared next to Ron. But in the conversation between Ron and Pepper just now, Yaang found out. The relationship between the two is not that good. If graded, she belongs to Ron. Steven was a close friend. According to the words of the ninja world, partners, bonds. As for Pepper, he was an acquaintance at best. This relieved her. At least there isn't an extra hostess. Ron just found out. You can directly display the item information yourself. Too lazy to explain. Just let Steven see it by himself. Luo, is this my magic skill? Why is it blue level? Steven pointed to the item information. Item, Magic Star Bullet, Skill Card. Level, Blue. Note, the magician's entry-level magic can change the flight trajectory of the star bomb with one's own thoughts. Although the level is not high, the consumption is extremely low and the release is extremely fast. His last portal was purple. The same is true for magic skills. This is a whole 2 levels different. It's a bit hard to accept. Ron, not bad, offensive skills. With it, you can go to the trial with confidence. Low consumption and quick release. What is this? This is a magical skill? Steven's strength is calculated according to the DNF level. Now it's only about level 5 at most. That's 0.5 Captain America. He can't use magic that is too high level. It's a little green monster anyway, not a big Hulk. Steven was surprised to take the skill card and use it. Can I go to the trial? That would be great. For such a long time, the magic power that grew on its own was not as fast as that one trial. If I hadn't felt unsure, I would have gone a long time ago. The other side. Pepper held the hammer and prayed silently. I need an item that can heal my injuries, just one. Crack. A blue light lit up. Item, Ghost Swordsman Doll. Level, Blue. Note, a puppet in the form of a ghost swordsman made by a puppet master from Arad continent. He has strong strength and can use skills, ghost slaying and mountain collapse attack. Doll? Pepper's face showed disappointment. After taking it off, one's eyes were dull. The puppet holding a long sword in its hand stood quietly beside Pepper. Yaang, it does look a bit like the puppet in our village. Steven, puppet? Village? Is there such a place? He was suddenly startled. Isn't Yaang from another world? Just asked Pepper to get an ID. Damn FK. Can Luo do this? Ron nodded. It does look a bit similar, but it's more convenient. The doll can move freely and does not require chakra to provide energy. Except for not having independent thinking, he's just like a human being. The strength of this doll is almost equivalent to that of Captain America. Ron was being conservative. There are 2 skills. If it weren't for fighting, it would be very dull. At least the equivalent of 2 Captain Americas. This already makes Steven envious. That's Captain America? And it's permanent. Unlike his Minotaur, it was over in half an hour. If he had known better, he would have bought all the jars. Pepper shook her head. With the armor, she didn't really care about the Ghost Swordsman doll. Crack. Item, Symbiote the Demon's Flame. Level, Green. Note, a family of symbionts from the universe parasitizes the host body. It will improve the host's physical fitness and heal all injuries. Symbiote? Parasitic? Look at the squirming golden red fluid above the information introduction. Pepper only felt a chill. Who would want to let this thing become a parasite? Disgusting? But then she saw the introduction behind it. Heal all injuries? Not for my own use anyway. Disgusting, it doesn't seem to matter. Pepper's eyes gradually lit up. Well, I have to remind you. This golden red color matches Tony very well. Just, the demon's flame? Never heard of that. But it should be similar to venom, right? Ron coughed dryly. Although the symbiote is parasitic in the body, but this thing can know almost all information about the outside world through your brain. Everything, you know, Ron said and raised an eyebrow. Pepper liked Tony, and the 2 of them had to sleep together sooner or later. When I think of Tony having S*X with me, there is a parasite inside the body that is watching the battle. Hiss, this time it wasn't chilling. Pepper shivered all over. What does it feel like to be at war with heaven and man? Pepper knew for the first time. There are 2 little people above the head. One shouted. This is the best item for Tony, so you don't have to worry about him getting hurt in the future. Another. Ahem, it's not that there are no other options, you can wait first. Steven looked at the green level with envy. But when I think about parasitism, he immediately shook his head. Forget it? It's good to slowly improve your magic by yourself? Pepper put the symbiote aside first. Isn't there still 7 jars left? It's always possible to prescribe something to treat the injury. Crack. Item, rusty tie sword. Pepper continued to hit the next one as usual. Crack. Another piece of garbage. Crack. Crack. A series of breaking sounds. Long-term pain is worse than short-term pain. Pepper smashed all the remaining 4 cans. 4 white? Pepper looked at the information on the 4 items in disappointment. Sure enough, none of them were what she needed. Item, gold coin *100. Level, white. When I got it in my hand, I saw that it was a real gold coin. Item, silver coin *1000. Level, white. This is garbage that is worse than a silver coin. Until the last one. Pepper looked carefully. After hesitating for a moment, he took it down. Stephen came closer, whispered, Miss Potts, how about you give this to me? I'll buy it for 200,000. Pepper couldn't help but tighten her grip on the object. He shook his head very firmly. No, Tony needs this too. Item, tiger whip. Level, white. Note, the tiger thing that almost turned into a monster? The best whip, soak it in wine and drink it to strengthen your kidneys and strengthen your chicken? This thing is so huge that it is comparable to a human forearm. Add this note. Stop talking about Stephen. Even Ron couldn't help but take a second look. If he wasn't powerful, he wouldn't be able to use it. They all want to ask for it. Hear Pepper say no. Stephen shook his head regretfully. Forget it, since it's in the jar. He can drive there sooner or later. Chief, Pepper Potts went to that store again early this morning. Besides, she was alone when she went. But when I came back, I brought a man with me. Natasha Romanoff sent the video she took to Nick Fury. In the video, Pepper looked very bad. The eyes are full of complexity. He seemed to be troubled by something. In the laboratory, Tony is building a battle armor. The armor is already in shape, it just needs testing. But the new element as an energy source is not yet complete. Want to complete new elements? Tony also needs a particle collider. He has this in his villa. It's just that he hasn't returned to the villa since yesterday. Pepper, what's wrong with you? Seeing the complexity on Pepper's face, Tony wondered. Then I saw the ghost swordsman doll behind Pepper. A look of caution. Huh? Who is he? What's the situation? Steal Pepper from him? This is the doll I made by opening a can. Pepper explained. But it was obvious that her thoughts were not here. He hesitated for a moment. She pulled out the symbiote card. She decided that this choice would be left to Tony. If Tony really chooses to be parasitic, the worst thing is not to be astringent for now. Wait until there is a way. As for the tiger whip, definitely soak it first. Wait until Tony and her are officially together. Give Tony and tiger whip wine again. Give it to him now. I don't know which little burning hoof will be supplied in the end. Okay, Phil Coulson agent. I'm already here. I'll turn on the equipment right now. Outside the worry-free jar store. Barbara hung up the phone, turned on the tiny camera on his chest. Then, we walked into the jar shop. After entering, Barbara was stunned. I thought it was a dragon's den and a tiger's den, but I was finally able to show off my skills. Result, that's it? There were only 3 people in the store. 1 man, 2 women, oh yes, and a fox. The fox also wears eyeshadow. The man is sitting upright in the chair. It was Ron who she wanted to investigate. Ron drank tea one sip after another. From time to time, my eyes are on the projection screen. Probably, take a look. But Barbara didn't see any equipment projection. But it's not important. 2 other women. Barbara only knew one. Gwen Stacy, daughter of Chief George Stacy. I came to the store once yesterday. Another one. Barbara frowned. Why is the information Phil Coulson agent gave me so different? I don't know how this woman got in. Not that Stephen Strange was in the store. Where are people? Could it be that there is a secret passage in this shop? Can there be a secret passage in a serious place? Can a place with a secret passage be a serious place? Barbara made a mental note. The body inadvertently rotated half a circle. I took pictures of almost the entire store. I don't know if she is delusional. She felt as if those 3 people had just glanced at her. Did you notice her little move? Ron put down the teacup. Look at her. Welcome. Today's goods are sold out. If you want to buy, hurry up tomorrow. Sold out? Barbara looked around. Ouch. Good guy. What did she see? High-end drinks from all over the world are available here. There are even many she hasn't seen before. He looked obviously stunned. Come to your senses. His eyes fell on Ron. Are you the shop owner? Still checking the store for the boss. There are obviously so many goods. Why do you say they are sold out? Ron, those aren't for sale. Not selling. Barbara wondered. If you open a store and don't sell goods, what will you sell? Master Ron said he won't sell it, so he won't sell it. Can't you understand? Yaang stared at her unkindly. From the moment she came in, she saw through Barbara's little moves. With the powerful perception of a ninja, a quick glance revealed the camera equipment on Barbara's chest. And, she's still in Barbara. I saw some shadows of Umbu in the village. Umbu, they are all professional spies. Specializes in doing some shameful things. If the person who comes here is not kind, how can Yaang give her a good look? Lord Ron, the leader of an organization? Is this woman his subordinate? He looked at Yaang seriously. Barbara's expression didn't change. Just secretly vigilant in my heart. It seems that it was not an illusion before. They really saw through her little antics. But there is a way to avoid being seen through. If you have been seen through, then follow the same method as you have been seen through. Take a step forward. Barbara took out an ID from her arms. Place it in front of Ron. Is that right, Mr. Ron? My name is Elaine Morse, affiliated with the FBI. I want to ask you something. We'll talk about it later. I don't have time now. Ron glanced at it and looked away. Continue to watch Steven's trial. As for documents, you don't need to look at him to know it's fake. First of all, this woman looked familiar to him. Secondly, those who can enter his store must be lucky. Luck is an illusory thing. But there is one thing, at least it has to be related to the world's most beloved protagonist group. The FBI has nothing to do with the protagonist group. S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty much the same. Although he has traveled through time, it will cause some changes. It is still uncertain what the protagonist will become. However, luck will never disappear. Barbara narrowed her eyes. What I wanted to say. But when I think of Phil Coulson's reminder, Ron is a billionaire. She swallowed the words that came to her lips. Following Ron's gaze, he looked at the projection. Stephen Strange? The person on the projection is Stephen. Just this Stephen. It seemed a little different from the information she had obtained. Holding a crystal staff over 1 meter long. Raising your hand is a light bullet. Kill the grinning, drooling little green-skinned monster. The temperament of a medieval magician emerges spontaneously. If it weren't for the custom-made suit Stephen was wearing. She even suspected that this was a magic movie, etc. Isn't this a magic movie? When did Stephen Strange star in a movie? Why is there no information in it? Barbara was a little devastated. What does the intelligence department in S.H.I.E.L.D. do? Why are there missing information? Eat every day and wait to die. Do you still want to do it? Definitely, this time. She also didn't forget to point the camera at the projection. Go back and find out what kind of movie this is. It looks quite real. With her eyesight, it didn't look like special effects. It seems like you are really using magic to defeat monsters. Just when she was thinking wildly. On the projection, Stephen successfully killed the last goblin. Luo, this trial is absolutely stress-free. Projection ends. Suddenly, a white light appeared in the shop. As the white light solidified, Stephen walked out. Even the attire is exactly the same as on the projection. Movies come into reality? Barbara, Sigma? The little mouth opened slightly, and the eyes were full of disbelief. What is going on? Ron raised an eyebrow at Stephen. Are you sure you're not stressed? Your current trial map is the lowest level specially set up by me. Then I'll help you improve your level next time. Stephen raised his eyebrows. Who are you looking down on? I'll kill as many goblins as there are. This magic star bullet is so useful. No mana cost, fast release, easy to aim. A must for newbies. Don't even think about getting close to the goblins. Okay, you said so. Ron pretended to check it out. I remember there was a goblin king who could release thunder. Just wait while I look for you. Unleash the thunder? Goblin Thor? Stephen? No need. Luo, I think the current map is pretty good. No need to change. He only knows one magic. Just getting used to the newbie map. Defeat the thunderous goblin king? It sounds like it's not a simple thing. Wouldn't that be a delivery? Ron smiled. Wait until you become stronger. I will raise your trial level again. Don't worry, the strongest monster is just like the Minotaur you summoned before. Stephen was about to speak. Hearing Ron's words, he almost choked on his own saliva. What words? What word is this? Similar to a Minotaur? Then let him die? It has rough skin and thick flesh, but also has great strength. With one strike of the axe, the crystal staff had to be split in half. Ron comforted. You are already very strong now. Stephen blinked. Real. Ron nodded. Just like the people in the store. Ahem, just like ordinary people outside. You can fight at least a dozen. Stephen's face turned dark. Don't think I didn't hear you. What do you mean by half? Does that mean he can't beat anyone in the room? Excluding Ron, there are only 3 women left. Yaang doesn't count. People from other worlds are probably not weak. A tall girl and a pretty blonde girl. He can't beat these 2 people? He is a magician. Magician? He has superpowers. How could 2 people just come out and abuse him? Is there something wrong with the world? Autistic? Barbara narrowed her eyes. He looked deeply at everyone present. Ron's words made her realize a little bit of information. Forget it, as long as the can is opened enough, I will become stronger sooner or later. Stephen comforted himself. Luo, I'm going back first, there's still something to do at the hospital, he said and waved his hand to Ron. He drew a portal casually and left gracefully. Gwen had seen it last time and was used to it. Yaang took a second look. Space magic. It is said that Namikaze Minato of Konoha learned the flying Thor of the second Hokage. This is more convenient than that. Different from the 2. At the moment Barbara was numb. She only has 2 thoughts now. One is that I must not have woken up today. Second, I must scold all the intelligence agencies when I go back. What to eat? There is no important information at all. The rest, can you check it? I found the person involved and could ask everything in 2 minutes. Is Stephen Strange an ordinary person? Just good at medicine? Could that be an ordinary person? Gwen Stacy is just an ordinary high school girl? What Ron meant just now. Obviously even Stephen, who is a magician, can't beat her. This kind of high school girl. Which school trained you? Such an awesome school, why not confiscate it? He also specializes in training bad agents. Just send it to school for training. Watching Barbara leave in embarrassment, Ron took a sip of tea. S.H.I.E.L.D is gone. There is nothing we can do about it. Sooner or later, people selling jars will be targeted. Ron turned to look at Gwen. I'm closing the door, why don't you leave? Gwen, you were so gentle last time, why are you so fierce this time? Did you see it yesterday? What do you see? Are you bitten by a spider? Ron tilted his head to look at her. Gwen looked tense. How do you know? Well, I won't have any problems, right? Will it turn into a big spider? I don't want to turn into a spider, it's so ugly. Let her admire spiders, okay. Put the spider's appearance on her. Yeah, Didi? Ron looked at her funny. Don't worry, you won't turn into a spider. Gwen, that's great. Oh, Ron, you can do whatever you want when you go back. Gwen, huh? Epsilon, 3. Ron looked over in surprise. No, why are you crying? The sudden cry made Ron's mouth twitch. Gwen, you didn't say that, I don't have much time. You can do whatever you want when you go back, and you can eat whatever you want. Ron, underscore? When did I say you didn't have much time? I mean, there's nothing wrong with your body. Go back and use your ability and do what is right in your heart. Scared me? I took a picture of a fairly large Opai. Gwen let out a long sigh of relief. She complained to Ron like a baby. Can you please speak more clearly when you speak next time? Are you teaching Master Ron how to do things? Yaang narrowed his eyes slightly and slowly clenched his hands. Temptation, Lord Ron, is unforgivable. Obadiah, if you are angry with her, can you please stop pinching me? Consider living under someone else's roof now. Obadiah shook his tail but didn't move his body. Yaang straightened his bear, looking down at Gwen with an overwhelming advantage. Are you okay? If you have nothing to do, hurry up and leave. The store is closing. Sir Ron has something else to do, don't waste your time. Gwen left. If he doesn't leave Yaang, he will hit someone with the ball. Smelly woman. What's so great about it? Just wait, I will be older than you sooner or later. Gwen complained angrily. Big is amazing. Yaang raised his eyebrows. Beautiful eyes stared at Gwen until she walked away. Happy? Now it's her and the adults two-person world? Obadiah, well, I'm not human. Close the shop. Came to Ron in a happy mood. Sir, when are we going out? Ron, get out? Where? Yaang blinked worriedly. Don't you want to see my strength? There are many people in this city. Why don't we find a remote place with few people in advance? Yaang's eyes dimmed. Or adults have forgotten this matter. Well, adults are so busy, it's normal to forget. Wait until next time, Yaang can also. Oh, there's no hurry about this. Ron said perfunctorily. Listening to the perfunctory tone, Yaang's eyes still lit up quickly. Master Ron didn't forget. Okay, Master Ron. Ron got up and was about to take a bath, burn incense, and set up an altar to offer sacrifices. Suddenly it occurred to me that it didn't work at all. The whole person collapsed in the boss's chair in despair. Think silently in your heart. 10 draws in a row. Extraction successful? Ron took a closer look. The first thing that catches my eye is, get shattered Mjolnir. Counting the ones on the wall, there are already 3 hammers. Ron fell silent. Is this asking him to create a Thor team? Get Human Strengthening Potion KW89, perfect version. Get Human Strengthening Potion KW89, perfect version. Get Super Soldier Serum, perfect version. Get Super Soldier Serum, perfect version. Look at the 4 tubes of medicine in front of you. Ron remembered something. Whatever product is produced must be of high quality. Take a look, the perfect version. It just eliminates all side effects perfectly. And the version that maximizes the effect. Don't say anything, just do it. Throw both potions to Yaang. Then, he raised his head and drank. Yaang was still stunned. Seeing Ron's actions, he also raised his head and drank. Ron smashed his mouth. How to describe it? Grape-flavored egg white. Roughly the same. Ron made a fist. His physical strength has increased several times. He is now equivalent to at least 5 Captain Americas. Captain America? Ron was stunned and quickly touched the muscles on his body. It didn't feel like much had changed, and I was relieved. He had a very strong and perfect figure. Height over 180 centimeters. Well-proportioned figure. Paired with a handsome face. That's called a hormonal explosion. Otherwise, a new psychology department will be opened. There won't be that many repeat customers. He glanced at Yaang. Not much has changed either. It's just, Opai seems to be more prominent? Ron blinked. It seems like the clothes are indeed tighter than before. At this time, the 2 peaks jumped up. Ron narrowed his eyes and looked away. Continue to look at your gains. Yaang curled his lips. The eyes are curved into crescents. I still have great charm. Master Ron couldn't help but want to see it. Joyable mood. The shock of the sudden increase in physique was overshadowed. Well, next up is 2 pieces of trash? Ron's face darkened. Why is there so much garbage in all the worlds? Can you handle the system? Don't you know how to pick things when you pick them up? If it doesn't work, it's not like you haven't taken some high sis or something. Looking at the last 3, obtain the cow charm. Get the rabbit charm. Get the chicken charm. Yo, spell package? Ron's eyes lit up slightly. Sure enough, I deserve to be scolded. These 3 talismans are the best matched among the 12 talismans. Cow charm increases strength. The rabbit charm increases speed. The chicken charm makes people levitate. The combination of chicken and rabbit is a rapid flight. Coupled with the strong physique brought by great strength. If there is another pig charm, laser eyes. This is like a weaker version of Superman. After playing with it for a while, Ron shook his head. It's a pity, that's all. With his current physique, the combined improvement of the 3 spells, it is slightly stronger than the improvement of Mjolnir. He now has 3 handles. It's totally possible to use one hand and one handle. Another handle under my feet. 3 meow hammers, 3 times the happiness. Brother Zui fainted from crying in the women's restroom. So, that's it. It's incomparable to the flame dragon armor. Not to mention the Emperor's armor. He threw the charm to Yaang. Here you go. Ah, Master Ron. Yaang hurriedly threw Kuabai away. Catch the spell. Kuabai, okay. Is that how you play? Co-author, am I a part of your play? I don't dare bite Ron. I don't dare bite you. It was about to grin. However, a terrifying aura came over. Its body froze. What happened? Why did this BD woman suddenly become so much stronger? The 2 potions are perfect versions. After Yaang drank it, he took control of the surge of power in an instant. In fact, it didn't grow as much as Ron did. She was originally close to film level. The 2 potions almost doubled her physical strength. Became a real film level. Therefore, after the strength is improved, it's almost the same as Kuabai. In addition, Yaang has a good grasp of his own power. Kuabai didn't notice it. But the spell is different. That is a foreign object. Every spell, if calculated by jar level, that's almost equivalent to green grade items. The power of 12 talismans combined. Even without level Godfather, he is not much weaker. The spell has another property. The stronger the person, the greater the increase in the spell received. Yaang, who has shadow level strength, match 3 charms. The effect can be imagined. Kuabai immediately became sluggish. Why? Why this woman? He will become stronger than those 2 bastards Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama? It is unacceptable. Kuabai, Meet Yaang's gaze. Its originally pouty mouth slowly became softer. The exploded hair slowly softened and stuck to the body again. Hey, Benda, I was just scared, stressed. Well, I went back to the house to sleep. Oh my god, Ron, help me. Yaang looked unmoved at all. Kuabai jumped into Ron's arms decisively. Shivering.jpg? It's not that it's timid. In the ninja world, except for the Sage of 6 Paths, who was it afraid of? Die. A few years later, I am a good fox again. But not in this world. It doesn't perceive chakra in this world? What does that mean? It means dead, probably really dead. Yaang's eyes followed the movement of Kuabai. After seeing Ron, it became softer in an instant. Sir Ron, what are these 3? It's a great improvement for me. I feel that even the god of ninja will not be my opponent. And, I really want to fly. Yaang slowly floated up from the ground. Like a little girl. He was giggling happily and moving up, down, left, and right quickly. Ron raised his head slightly. Look at the clothes that are swaying due to the rapid movement. His eyes couldn't help but narrow again. Should we remind Yaang that she is gone? Never mind, she is so happy. Don't be a spoiler. Win-win? Back to SHIELD. Go directly to the intelligence department. After scolding all the personnel responsible for this information, Barbara felt better. Fortunately, Ron didn't have any murderous intention towards her. Otherwise, she would never come back alive today. Originally she wanted to ask more, but Ron ignored her at all, just as she was thinking. When using the female agent's unique technique of seduction, the murderous aura emanating from the woman holding the fox, it almost drowned her. The sphincter was barely tight. My legs are weak. Finally he fled in panic. That's not an ordinary store. A tiger's den is not that dangerous. So stop cursing. After all the beatings, she felt uncomfortable. The intelligence is not good. Doesn't this hurt her? Come to the director's office. As soon as she entered the door, she saw Phil Coulson smiling at her. Blinked. Barbara handed over the video she recorded today. Phil Coulson agent. Barbara Morse gets the job done. Phil Coulson still has the good guy smile. Well done. The director has read the report you submitted. Just waiting for your video. Come together. If we have any questions, we want you to answer them. Okay, Phil Coulson agent. Barbara closed the door and followed. Phil Coulson expertly set up the equipment. Play video. Half an hour later, there was silence in the director's office. You were at the scene and didn't see clearly how Stephen Strange appeared. Nick Fury stared at Barbara with one eye. Barbara shook her head. No. Nick Fury leaned back. Lean back. This matter is kept confidential. Raise the confidentiality level of all information related to Ron and we can store to level 7. Boss, what about us? Phil Coulson pointed at himself and Barbara. He is now a level 6 agent and Barbara is a level 5 agent. Regarding this matter, according to regulations, they need to sign a confidentiality agreement. Nick Fury thought for a moment. Need not. Agent Morse is still responsible for this matter. While you are responsible for the task at hand, you are also responsible for assisting Agent Morse. To avoid what happened today happening again. A good agent should not be put in danger because of intelligence mistakes. Having said this, Nick Fury paused. Send someone to contact Stephen Strange and Gwen Stacy. Ask about their abilities, but don't act rashly. Nick Fury's suspicious character. Make him a little afraid of Ron. Definitely, it's just some. Open a store in Manhattan openly. Show off your extraordinary power without any hesitation. I don't know that Ron is ignorant and fearless, or confidence in one's own strength. But no matter what, it means that if they act rashly, there may be casualties. Therefore, he needs precise information. Then consider whether to recruit or imprison. And he doubted it. Tony's rescue was also related to Ron. Unfortunately, Barbara was late. If only I went with Pepper. You can't even see the can being opened. So, in the video she took, the shelf behind the counter was empty. Now leads to Nick Fury, not knowing that the can store actually sells cans. And in the jar, extraordinary abilities can be unlocked. Arctic Circle. Yaang was suspended in midair. Red chakra aura erupted from his body. The power emanating from his body made the ice beneath his feet tremble slightly. Opposite her, it's Ron wearing fire dragon armor. It's the flame dragon armor. The Emperor's armor was too high for Yaang. Even the Six Paths Sage and its Satsuki of the ninja world. Even a fart from the Emperor's armor can cause it to collapse to death. Don't talk about Yaang. Sir Ron, here I come. Before he finished speaking, Yaang came behind Ron. He blasted out with a punch carrying burning escape. Take the lead, with a hint of sneak attack. Obviously, Ron put a lot of pressure on her. Moreover, the increase in strength made her discover, unless it's a large battlefield, face a single enemy. No ninjutsu is inferior to hand-to-hand combat. Bang! Looking at the fist held in Ron's hand, Yaang's pupils shrank. She didn't see Ron's movements clearly at all. Just a moment ago, his back was turned to her. The next moment, her fist fell into Ron's hand. There is no pity and pity for Jade. He grabbed his fist and shook it towards the ground. Crack. Boom. The ice broke and huge waves surged into the sky. The next second, the ice melts rapidly. Rolling steam instantly enveloped the entire sea. It keeps steaming upward. And because of the cold air here, quickly turns into tiny ice crystals. Sparkling crystal clear in the sun. Behind the beauty is a punch. Yaang used all his strength. The result remains the same. Ron grabbed his fist. Throw it away casually. These two punches allowed Ron to test Yaang's approximate strength. No longer standing there as a target. The body moves quickly. Yaang's vision could only see a flash of light and shadow. Then I got a slap on the butt. The body flew upside down involuntarily. Before it could stabilize, light and shadow flashed again. I got hit again. Yaang was still struggling to fight back. But no matter how quickly she adjusted her body, Ron was always one step ahead of her. After a while, she gave up. Her butt was numb, and she had not yet succeeded in resisting even once. Tired, destroy it. Ron sensed she was giving up her resistance. A flame dragon fist knocked her away, fell into the ice again. Yaang flew out of the ice wet. His face was filled with disappointment. Sir Ron, I feel that I am very strong, but why? Don't compare yourself to me. I'm cheating? Ron looked away from her tight-fitting clothes. Fortunately, wearing the flame dragon armor, Yaang couldn't see his eyes. But it's not his fault. Yaang has burning escape and doesn't need it. Just making the clothes wet. He is a normal and decent man. How could I not resist watching it? Yaang didn't understand Ron's words. Just flew to Ron in frustration. Continuously giving out benefits. Then what level of strength do I have to be qualified to protect Lord Ron? Ron's eyes remained unblinking. You really want to know? Yaang nodded his head heavily. Think. Good. Ron held out his hand toward the store. Yaang was confused. What is Master Ron doing? After a moment, her eyes suddenly widened. I saw a thunder roaring from the sky. A hammer was wrapped in the thunder. The hammer looked familiar to her. It's the ones hanging on the wall in the store? This terrifying thunder and lightning is simply more powerful than the wreckage of Cloud Hidden Village? Bang. Makes a slight noise. The surging thunder was held in Ron's hand. The surrounding thunder power was absorbed by the hammer. Once again, he looked ordinary. Ron put the hammer on the ground. When can you lift it up? Then you have the strength to protect me. There is no way Yakura can lift like Captain America. Ron also didn't want to see Yaang turn into a Captain America kind of character. Therefore, Yaang wanted to lift. It can only rely on pure hard power. The strength to lift a fixed star core. Yaang stared at the hammer. The power of the hammer just now is still vivid in my mind. Unexpectedly, things are wholesale in the store. There are actually people with stronger power than her. This made her a little uncomfortable. Take a deep breath. It makes the Opai, which already stands out because of its close fit, stand out even more. Reach out and grasp the hammer handle. Just use all your strength. The hammer doesn't move at all. The burning chakra exploded to the extreme. The hammer remains motionless. Seeing this situation, Yaang's energy suddenly disappeared. Why is this happening? It's obviously quite easy for Master Ron to hold it. Why can't she even move the hammer? Looking at the frustrated Yaang, Ron patted her shoulder. Okay, you will be stronger in the future. Use burning escape to steam the clothes first. We are going back. Steam dry clothes? Yaang blinked his big eyes. Lower your head slowly. After a moment, Yaang looked at Ron with a slight blush on his face. Beautiful eyes that never blink. Did Master Ron just see everything? I must have seen them all. How long have Sir Ron been watching? I just saw it. Still. Then Mr. Ron reminded me because he was going back. He must like it very much. Whoa. Looking at Yaang, his skin was steaming. Ron was startled. What are you doing? I'll let you use burning release to steam dry your clothes. I'm not asking you to dry yourself out. Look at your blushing face. Go under the ice to replenish water. Camartage. Ancient One watched the battle between Ron from beginning to end. Fight with Yaang. Ron didn't need to unleash the true power of the Flame Dragon armor. That's better than the current Hulk. Not nearly as good as Carol. Therefore, Ancient One's expression has always been dull. I just have doubts in my heart. When did two powerful men of this strength appear on Earth? And the power system was something she had never seen before. While doubtful, she also protected Captain America in the ice. Captain America popsicles, it would be bad if they turned into Captain America crushed ice. However, her calmness did not last long. Upon seeing Mjolnir flashing thunder, become again. I couldn't help but open my eyes wide. She blinked slightly. Let yourself see more clearly. Exactly the same? Exactly like the hammer of the son of Odin? Is that thing called Mjolnir? I haven't heard any news about Mjolnir changing hands. An artifact of this level. Odin can't let others take it as he pleases. Then this. She couldn't help but look towards Asgard. It's a pity, just like Odin can't see through Camartage and Holy Place. She also couldn't see through Asgard. Forget it, never mind. If something really happened, Odin would have sent someone long ago. She hasn't figured out Stephen Strange's problem yet. Why do you suddenly know how to use the portal? Who secretly went to teach him? She left her body and traveled around a foreign land. It didn't take long either. How come this world has become a bit incomprehensible? She felt the need to reach out to Stephen. Asgard. To Mjolnir? Heimdall looks at the earth. Look at Thor in Asgard at the moment. And the hammer in his hand. Subconsciously he rubbed his golden eyes. It's over. My eyes, which are said to see through the 9 realms, are finally tired. They all had hallucinations. Even an artifact like Mjolnir can be mistaken. It's time to consider going to the God King to discuss retirement. He was ultimately unable to fulfill the important task of being a gatekeeper. Heimdall flew away from Bifrost. Go to the palace and ask for an audience with the God King Odin. Outside the worry-free jar store, there is always an agent assigned to guard it. One of them rubbed his eyes, patted the other shoulder. Did you just see that? Saw it. What is that thing? How come it suddenly appears out of thin air and then disappears again? It didn't disappear, it just flew away too fast. Then what do we do now? Did you just record it? Wait for me to go take a look. The agent stood up and looked at the monitor. It's been running, but I don't know if I can take pictures clearly at such a fast speed. Don't worry about that. Our mission is over. I'm not sure it's a problem with the technical department. You have a point. Sir, this may be something you want to know. The voice of J.A.R.V.I.S. sounded in the studio. Then a projection appeared in front of Tony. Tony frowned. J.A.R.V.I.S. What did you want me to see? His pupils condensed. Slow down. Put it to the slowest speed. Finally, Tony saw the video clearly. On the video, there was a man wearing silver-red armor. He quickly left with a woman in his arms. Judging from the direction, it was flying straight to the north. The speed was so fast that even J.A.R.V.I.S. almost didn't detect it. Even at the slowest speed, only a vague figure can be seen. Sir, after comparison, that woman is Miss Yaang, whom Miss Potts helped register her identity. Ron's people? Then this red armor. Fake squid? Ron actually has a higher level armor. Tony felt defeated. My Mark II has just been improved. Over there Ron, come up with another one that's even better. Sir, there is another video. After comparison, the hammer in the video is 99% similar to the one hanging on the wall in Ron's shop. Tony looked at the video. It is still the hammer shadow that can only be seen clearly when it is placed at the slowest speed. It feels really hard for JARVIS. Similarities can also be distinguished. He didn't see any connection between the two things. One looks like a toy hammer. Surrounded by a thunder, it comes with BGM. Could these two be the same thing? If he remembers correctly, there are 2 of these hanging in Ron's shop. Sir, one more thing. Tony, JARVIS. Who did you learn from? Can you finish it all at once? Squeeze the toothpaste out little by little. Is it annoying? J.A.R.V.I.S. Sir, I'll pay attention next time. Look, the pattern of this hammer is very similar to the legendary Mjolnir. Mjolnir? Thor? Is there really a god? Look at the similar patterns on both. Tony frowned slightly. Why did it suddenly go from science and technology to myths and legends? But when I think about the magic of the jar, there are such things. If another god appears, it doesn't seem to be a big deal. J.A.R.V.I.S. Record it first and wait until I'm done. Okay, sir. At the same time, SHIELD. I received the video from my subordinates. Nick Fury also raised the confidentiality level of the Ken shop by 1 level again. And he also received a report from his agent. Nick Fury makes them go in and search while the door is closed. But I couldn't even find the door of the store. Everyone knows what the address of the store is, but just can't get in. The weird thing is, when he told Phil Coulson, Natasha Romanoff, and Barbara to go, but I received the feedback of director, everything is normal. Although I still can't get through the door. But at least you can see the existence of the store. Is this shop still a job picker? People who don't want to let in can't even find the door. This is safer than any secret room. For a while, Nick Fury also had some thoughts of recruiting. But that's it. He knows some magic and has a hammer that can discharge electricity. The hammer flies very fast, but it can't compare to Carol. It's not worth his trouble. This is because his people haven't bought the jar yet. Otherwise, he might not think so. Boss, the technical department has detected violent vibrations in the Arctic Ocean. For unknown reasons, a large area of ice suddenly collapsed. Phil Cowlson knocked on the door and walked in. Nick Fury, the specific reason is unknown. Phil Cowlson nodded. This is what the video looks like. The ice suddenly collapsed, there were waves, and there was thick fog. The situation is very strange. I have arranged for someone to investigate. Nick Fury, okay, that's it. He pinched his eyebrows. He had a delusion. Why, since Tony came back, things suddenly increased. It was another 3 peaceful days. Steven has been busy dating Kristen recently. Pepper has been helping Tony manage the company. 2 old customers didn't come. No cans have been sold in the past 3 days. Although Barbara comes around every day, but in fear of Yaang, I don't dare to open my mouth to buy anything. As a result, nothing was found. At the same time, Phil Cowlson went to find Steven himself. Hello, Dr. Strange. My name is Phil Cowlson, and I'm affiliated with. Listen to Phil Cowlson speak. Steven thought of what Ron told him. Because of his magical ability, there may be special departments to investigate him. If you are in danger, tell them about the jar shop. But how could Steven betray his friends? Straight up Phil Cowlson. Sorry, I'm very busy. There are still many patients waiting for me to perform surgery. If you must talk to me, please lie down on the operating table. I only communicate with my patients. Phil Cowlson still has a smile on his face. Dr. Strange, I think you'd better cooperate with our inquiries. Otherwise, I can only take you back. Steven looked at him flatly. I don't think you know the identities of the patients who I personally operate on. If you go and learn more about it, you wouldn't talk to me like that. Okay, get out of the way, don't delay my surgery. As a top neurosurgeon, he has the capital to not hang anyone down. The people who asked him to perform surgeries were the top figures in the entire Federation. Some people don't say Phil Cowlson. Even if Nick Fury comes in person, he can't afford to offend him. After that, without even looking at Phil Cowlson, Steven entered the office without looking back. Outside, Phil Cowlson frowned slightly. Steven is just a billionaire, but there is a tricky identity. This made him a little worried. As a top field civil servant, past performance is the most impressive, but recently it has hit a brick wall. Sighing slightly, he could only report Steven's situation. Chief Stacy, my name is Phil Cowlson, affiliated with the FBI. Phil Cowlson selected one of his many identity cards, passed it to George. George took it and looked at it. It is true. He said nothing, waiting for Phil Cowlson to explain his purpose. Phil Cowlson, we are looking for you this time to find out about your daughter Gwen Stacy. In an instant, George's expression changed, looking coldly at Phil Cowlson. My daughter is just an ordinary high school girl. I just came of age this year. Phil Cowlson is smiling. I know. If something really happened to Miss Stacy, we wouldn't come to you first. George ignored him. He took out his cell phone and called Gwen. After hearing about Gwen at school, George's expression brightened slightly at this moment. Phil Cowlson smiled and waited for George to finish the call. Director Stacy, can we talk now? George, what do you want to talk about? Phil Cowlson, as far as I know, Miss Stacy has supernatural powers. Director Stacy, do you know about this? Sir Ron, can you tell me how much it weighs? Yaang feels that he has become stronger recently. Then I couldn't wait to try it. Yet the hammer remained motionless, regardless of the 2 intact ones. Still the broken one. Yaang was shocked. Just squat next to Ron's recliner. He grabbed Ron's arm. Ron just lowered his head slightly, almost as far as the eye can see. This girl didn't treat him as an outsider at all. Take a deep breath quickly. Suppress little Ron's restlessness. He took another sip of the cool and soothing tea, covering up the unnaturalness in his eyes. Feeling better, Ron spoke. The hammer is made of the dying fixed star core as its main material, supplemented by URU metal, and then made of branches from the world tree, forged by the forging master of the dwarf clan, even though it comes from a jar. But Ron doesn't think it's just a pirated product. What does the original Mjolnir look like? It is what it is. Fixed star core, world tree, dwarf clan. Luo, are you giving your little assistant some popular science? Steven drew circles and appeared in the store. Tell me about it. I'm also curious about other worlds. Although he said so, but his eyes were on the jar. Ron tilted his head and looked at him. Open the can first. Steven, okay. Any popular science is not as important as opening a can. Swiping the card skillfully, Yaang took the tube. Raise the hammer. Crack. Okay, the daily tasks are completed. Luo, let's, I thought I couldn't get anything good out of it. Steven smashed the jar out of habit. I was about to continue talking to Ron about what happened just now. Suddenly, a bright blue light almost blinded him. Item, Ice Soul Sword, skill card. Level, blue. Note, generate an Ice Soul Sword that can last for a long time. It will cause additional ice damage when attacking enemies. Freeze damage is not effective on the user. Steven was silent. Luo, I'm a magician, do I think it's fair to carry an ice sword? A serious magician, shouldn't he stand behind Obadiah? Ron looked at him strangely. Can you say this? In the original novel, how many times did you have close combat with people? Besides, serious magicians don't just throw out a flare, then charge with the sword in hand. A magician who cannot melee is not a good magician. Don't worry, learn it. Ice Soul Sword is a magician's unique skill. Steven had an expression like I read a lot, don't lie to me. But looking at Ron's affirmative look, he removed the skill card. Use. Feeling the new skills you have learned. Steven couldn't wait to use it. A blue translucent ice crystal sword. 2 words, so damn cool. Even Yaang couldn't help but glance at it. Steven shook it awkwardly twice. Ice flowers were scattered all over the ground. It looks like I need to find someone to practice swordsmanship with. Ron, why don't you take advantage of your luck and open 2 more? Steven blinked excitedly. Good. Rubbed his hands. He had a hunch that something good would come out today. Crack. Click. FK. 2 blue lights? It turned out to be 2 blue lights. He is no longer the can-opening novice he was before. After dozens of jars of edification, he gained a deep understanding of jar item levels. White level, although there is a lot of garbage. But as long as it's shipped, it's an extraordinary item. Blue level, 100% extraordinary item, and none of them are weak. Green level, in Ron's words, if you can use it to the extreme, it is equivalent to Sub-Heavenly Father, who is also a demigod. Purple level, take it to the extreme. That is the true level Godfather, that is, God level ability. Like his portal, it seems to be just a rush function. But if it is closed at the moment, it will cut off the enemy. Even if I'm wearing Vibranium, I can't bear it. As for Vibranium, even Yaang Father's strength cannot defeat it. Now, 3 blue levels in a row. He is already very content. Item, contract summon, header, skill card. Level, blue. Note, summoning magic can summon Goblin Hiddle. Let it assist itself in attacking the enemy. Header's existence time, permanent, until death or removal of summons. It cannot be summoned repeatedly during its existence time. Item, whirling fire shield, skill card. Level, blue. Note, form the fire into a shield shape in front of you and cast it out to cause damage to the target. Damage decreases as the target is further away. Look at the 2 skill cards. The smile on Steven's face never disappeared. Use. I'm really lucky today. 3 skills, all are attack skills. Just have a summon goblin. As a goblin-killing magician, the crystal staff is colder than the knife that killed a 10-year-old fish. Very doubtful now. Summoning goblins, what kind of good skill can it be? Do goblins deserve to be summoned? Don't underestimate goblins. Ron spoke to comfort. If one day you find a goblin that can release thunder, when the time comes, you, a goblin, might be able to challenge Thor alone. Thinking of it with Steven's blessing. Rukinor, who wields his sword and strikes down thunder continuously. Ron's face was filled with anticipation. As for the magician's skills, don't have the skill summon Thunderkino? It doesn't matter, I can open the can. There are 3 handles of Mjolnir hanging on the wall. What else is impossible? Thor? Steven mused. Now he wouldn't take Ron's words as a joke. Ron said there was Thor. That is true. When will I meet Thor? Ron looked at him in surprise. Unexpectedly, Steven actually believed it. Steven smiled. Are you that surprised? Although I'm a bit arrogant, I'm not stupid. I've seen so much, how can I still not believe it? After saying that, Steven glanced at Yaang, whose face was full of unhappiness. Just now, Luo, were you explaining something to Miss Yaang? Did I come at the wrong time and disturb the world between you and Yaang? Steven winked at Ron. Yaang's face was full of unhappiness. If it's anime, now I'm afraid there will be a dark cloud overhead and it will start to rain. Ron smiled and nodded. She just asked me why the hammer was so heavy. I just explained it to her. Is it heavy? Miss Yaang can't even lift it. Steven walked over curiously and took a look. The hammer Yaang tried was still on the ground. Well, it's the same as the one hanging on the wall. A nail can hang on it, no matter how heavy it can be. He moved his wrist. Steven reached out and took hold. Use force. He blinked. Although he didn't use all his strength. But even if it's all metal, it still needs to be shaken, right? Hold both hands at the same time. The veins in his hands popped out, and his face turned red from holding back. The hammer remained motionless. Steven let go and gasped for air. Luo, have you installed the mechanism? How can it be so heavy? It's so unscientific. You know, he is now holding Christine with one hand, effortlessly. Ron smiled and said nothing. He just waved his hand towards the hammer. The hammer automatically flew into Ron's hand. Steven, isn't this a legendary artifact that needs to be recognized as its owner? No one can lift it except the master. Did you just laugh at my joke? Ron, you have a point. But if it has an owner, it can only be the legendary Thor. Mjolnir belongs to Thor. Very reasonable. It's just that Thor may not be able to summon his hammer. Thor? Steven is also quite knowledgeable. I instantly understood the meaning of Ron's words. You mean it, their Mjolnir. But his eyes fell on the wall. Isn't this a bit much? There are many things hanging on the wall. A shield, very similar to that of the legendary Captain America. A big sword. 2 belt-like things. A pair of glasses. Plus 3 Mjolnir. Then why did this break? Oh, which one is the shattered version of Mjolnir? Steven, is Mjolnir still divided into versions? Strange knowledge has been added. Forget it, what about Thor and not Thor? When I gain strength, I won't be worse than Thor. Luo, with my current strength, can I go on a trial? Ron, that's enough, now. Steven thought for a moment. Now, Originally, today was just a day-to-day opening of jars. Unexpectedly, I was so lucky. All I can say is that sometimes luck comes and you can't stop it. Watching Steven use the trial scroll, he was teleported away. Yaang's little face was filled with sadness, showing a thoughtful look. Sir Ron, can I also become stronger in this way? Also open a can. Ron was stunned. He hadn't thought about this. He kept giving items he didn't need to Yaang. As for the characters I created, can you open a jar or conduct a trial? He didn't think about it at all. You can try. However, the rules cannot be broken. If you open the jar, it's still 100,000 yuan. Yaang nodded excitedly. No problem, Master Ron. It's only 100,000. Making money is a ninja's specialty. But the face that had just become excited soon fell down again. In this world, no nobles issue tasks. How can she make money? Except for this ninjutsu. She knows nothing else. To kill someone? Steven had just entered the trial map. I smelled a familiar smell. Minotaur body odor. Provide support to the Minotaur for half an hour. Already very familiar with it. He held the staff and cast summoning magic. A golden magic circle emerged. Huddle's figure appeared in the magic circle. Steven was stunned. A goblin as tall as one person? Look at the mace that is comparable to his own thigh. That familiar sense of security came to my mind again. And Steven feels. Huddle seems to have another dimension. Store something. As the summoner, he can only detect these. What exactly is in the space? He doesn't know. However, when the battle comes, Huddle will definitely use it. The movement just now alarmed the little goblins around. Want to test Huddle's strength. Steven didn't take action. Let Huddle come forward. Bang bang is just 2 clicks. A goblin fell to the ground. A goblin twice. Not as good as the Minotaur, but not too weak either. Mainly, he can be summoned at any time. Steven nodded with satisfaction. He was satisfied. Huddle seemed a little dissatisfied. A group of little goblins dare to challenge it at any time. Looking at a group of little goblins running towards it, Hedda reached out and dug in the void. When taking it out again, there was something black in his hand. Steven looked more and more familiar. He blinked. Fake squid. That TM is actually a bomb. I saw Huddle rubbing the lead. The fuse suddenly burst into flames. Hedda bared his fangs. A ferocious smile. He threw the explosive bomb at the group of little goblins. Boom! A violent explosion sounded. Nearly 10 little goblins died tragically. Steven looked at the small light spots flying over. I feel like I'm dreaming. No wonder it's blue level. I made a lot of money. Sorry, Huddle, I shouldn't look down on you. In the next battle, he played support again. Hurdle's explosive bombs seem to be endless. The strange young man has 2 sticks. If there are too many monsters, start taking out explosive bombs. After killing the goblins, face the Minotaur. Steven thought Huddle would go up and challenge him. I'm afraid it can't be beaten. Just about to take command. Hedda looked at the Minotaur and then at himself. As if thinking. There was no scene that he was worried about. At this time, Hedda reached into the dimensional space again. It took a long time. At last. Steven, 0. Look at the oversized explosive bomb in Huddle's hand. Eyes full of incredible. If the previous one was this big, surprised face, then this one oh. Explosive bombs comparable to the file size of a human head. Huddle threw the bomb. Without looking back, he dragged Steven and ran away. Steven hasn't reacted yet. Just listen to boom. Huge amounts of airwaves separated dozens of meters. It can also be clearly perceived. Looking at Huddle who was peeping his head. Steven versus goblins. Completely changed my opinion. Too obscene. Listen to the Minotaur's howl. Huddle weighed the mace. He walked over unsteadily. Looking at Huddle grinning. It must be a smile, right? After defeating the Minotaur with 2 sticks. Steven was still dreaming. Is this the end of the upgraded version of the trial map? Has he been taken down by a goblin? Because of Huddle. The speed this time was faster than the last time the Minotaur carried it. Exit the trial map. Steven just found out. His own strength has improved greatly. Before entering, he was at level 5. Now, he is close to level 9. How about it? Ron asked with a smile. Steven, it's so cool. I just want to do it again. Ron stopped him. Next time, it will be a higher level map. What you have to do now is to get familiar with the skills. Don't you still have 2 skill level improvement scrolls? Better use it on a skill. Steven nodded. I see. Tony. Inside Tony's studio. Pepper glared at Tony. Recently, Tony successfully built the armor. No one is seen from time to time. She couldn't even be found. Until she saw the Middle East news reported on TV. That iconic steel armor. Tony ignored Pepper's glare. Take a sip of wine. Speak slowly. You know, Ethan went back to his hometown. I went to see him and saw a lot of terrorists. They're all using Stark-made weapons. And it's all new. I have announced the closure of the weapons manufacturing department. Pepper, do you know what's going on? What happened? She didn't know, but she could guess. In this case, there is only one possibility. That means someone in the company is reselling arms. And he's a very high status person. In fact, Pepper has already decided on the candidate. That's Obadiah Stana. During the time Tony was missing. Obadiah in private. It doesn't concern Tony as much as it seems. It was as if Tony's life or death had nothing to do with him. This is completely inconsistent with his usual persona of calling himself Uncle Tony. However, she couldn't say this. Comparatively speaking, Her relationship with Tony is not as good as Obadiah's. Mr. and Mrs. Howard died in 1991. Over 10 years. It was Obadiah taking care of Tony. It's not an exaggeration to call him a godfather. Therefore, Pepper could only remain silent. Unless Tony guesses it himself. Unbeknownst to Pepper, however, that was the Tony from before. Pepper, the only one I can trust in the company right now is you. So, I need you to do me a favor. Watching Tony look at her seriously, Pepper only felt her heartbeat speed up. If other scumbags say this, they are in Pua. But Tony is a bit of a scumbag. But with his arrogant nature, he would never deceive a woman like this. Pepper suppressed the fluctuation in her heart. What do you need me to do? I need you to come to my office. Tony looked at her seriously. Hack the machine and get all the recent shipping lists. This thing can help you hack in. He took out a black USB flash drive from the drawer. Pass it to Pepper. Pepper looked at the thumb drive. If I do get it, then what will you do? If it really is Obadiah. She was afraid that Tony would be hit. Tony raised his head and breathed a sigh of relief. I'll stop them. Whoever it is. The weapons I made, I will destroy with my own hands. Hear Tony's words. Only then did Pepper pick up the USB flash drive. He looked at the steel armor full of bullet holes. Tony, you know I'd do anything for you. But, from now on, you are not allowed to act privately. At least, let me know. Otherwise, this will be the last time I help you. I do what I say. After finishing speaking, Pepper realized that she was too heartless. Added, I'm not weak now. There are rescue armors and ghost swordsman dolls to protect you, so they won't hold you back. Tony looked into her eyes. I know, that's why I need your help. I promise that I will never take risks easily in the future. Eyes facing each other. Pepper made up her mind. Good. You have to remember that you are everything to me. Stark Building. Although the ghost swordsman doll was blocked outside, but Pepper carries the rescue armor with him. Not as careful as the original. Go straight into Tony's office. Just plug the USB drive in directly. Not covered at all. Directly crack computer programs. Sure enough, the evidence was found. When looking at the above, Obadiah's dealings with terrorists, she wished she could wear the armor on the spot. Kill this bald guy, especially when Obadiah walks into the office. After seeing her behavior, Pepper, what are you doing? Pepper stared at him coldly. Look at your evil deeds. Obadiah's eyes turned cold. Listen, Pepper, you're just Tony's assistant. There is no need to sacrifice your life for him. And, I will kick him off the council soon. This company will only belong to me. Put your things down and I'll let you get out of this building safely. Pepper looked at him mockingly. He tapped his hand lightly on his chest. Instantly, the armor possessed him. Are you threatening me? This is not the Pepper in the original novel. Everything she has now, it gave her enough confidence. Damn FK. Steel armor? Look at that sci-fi-like armor. Obadiah's expression changed. Turn around and run away. Pepper stared at his embarrassed figure coldly. If it weren't for worrying about Tony, she wanted to kill him right now. Obadiah left knowing he had been exposed. Can't wait any longer. You must start in advance. Iron Overlord is now transformed. Just lack the energy core. Tony is in a simple cave. Can create Mark 1. But these useless engineers. With help from Stark Industries. So far I can't even build an arc reactor. Obadiah went straight to Tony's house. Exposed is exposed. Just kill Tony. Stark is still his. Even the sci-fi armor on Pepper Potts. It will also be Stark's property. Think of the sci-fi scene where the armor is possessed like flowing water. Obadiah felt that it was a lot of money coming in. In the villa, Tony repaired the suit. He was sitting on the sofa to rest with a tired look on his face. He was attacked by Obadiah. The weapon used to sneak attack him was the nerve paralysis device he had developed. Pale Tony. Looking at this ferocious face, the former uncle. The brain has fallen into sluggishness. Still feeling the sadness. Watch as Obadiah takes away the life-sustaining reactor. Watching Obadiah taking advantage of him. Finally watched Obadiah leave with the reactor. After a while, Tony's body was finally able to move. He felt in his pants pocket. The card that Pepper always made him keep with him. Use. The card turned into white light. The golden red liquid solidified from the white light. Wrapped his body. In just the blink of an eye, the golden red liquid melted into the body. It was as if everything just now was an illusion. Then the whole room fell silent again. Ding ding ding. A series of metallic crashes. On the ground beneath Tony, there were several more shrapnel stained with blood. The big hole in his chest has healed at some point. The color returned to the pale face. Just like that, I don't know how long it took again. Who? Tony stood up suddenly, gasping for air, touching his restored chest. Before he could show his surprised expression, his expression changed. Mom FK, I'm so hungry. Ah, Pepper, Obadiah just came to my place. While eating the food, Tony was on the phone with Pepper. Pepper, you caught him. Tony, ugh. No, he took the reactor off my chest. Pepper. After listening to Tony's narration, Pepper felt that she had never been so speechless in her life. A strong man with steel armor, being attacked by a bald old man in his 50s or 60s, and almost died. Luckily she gave Tony the symbiote card ahead of time. Forget it, now is not the time to talk about this. No matter how, Obadiah helped Tony make the decision. Integrated the symbiote. She won't have to worry so much about Tony's safety in the future. Then what are you going to do now? Come and catch him and hand him over to the police station. Tony, ugh. I might not be able to get through it for a while. This symbiote consumes too much energy to restore the body, energy. I feel like what I'm eating now is almost as heavy as my weight. That's it, I don't feel full yet. Ah, Pepper, I can only ask you to stop him first. I'll go over there after I finish eating. Ugh. Tony hung up the phone. Pepper is your woman. I feel like I don't care much about you. A voice came from Tony's body. Why don't you let me eat it? Tony raised his eyebrows. The voice was cold. You think you're funny. Still think I can't live without you. The demon's flame, don't be angry, man. I was just kidding. I won't hurt anyone who hurts her. A command was inexplicably implanted in my consciousness. Let me obey her orders. Man, do you know what this is? Tony was stunned. Unexpected items coming out of jars. There is such a restriction. The demon's flame, oh, open the can. Worry-free jar shop. I was opened by Pepper from the jar. Tony frowned. Can you perceive my thoughts? The demon's flame, don't worry, man. I didn't mean it. We integrated, you understand. It's just physical integration. Tony, not the kind of integrate you human men and women do. In your human terms, you have such a dirty mind. I'm a high-level life form, so I won't have such low-level desires. Tony looked curious. Then how do symbiotes reproduce? Not breeding. Or spit out an egg. Oviparous. The demon's flame, you are a human with a weak waist. What do you care about how our symbionts reproduce? Tony, can you still talk properly? Really? Shut up, there's nothing I want to hear. Director, there seems to be a conflict between Pepper Potts and Obadiah Stana. The specific circumstances are unknown. It is suspected that Pepper Potts found some information. Natasha Romanoff reports to Nick Fury as usual. Send Phil Coulson agent to bring someone here. Okay, I'll have a round with Phil Coulson. Just hung up the phone. Natalie, have you seen Director Stan? Natasha Romanoff's pupils shrank. I suddenly heard a voice behind me. She turned quickly. When she saw it was Pepper walking towards her with the ghost swordsman doll, he quickly put away his raised arms. Miss Potts. Director Stan, it seems that he just went to Area 16 of the building. Pepper nodded. Okay, thank you very much. The company doesn't need to work overtime, just enjoy life after get off work. Before leaving, he took a deep look at Natasha Romanoff. If she read it correctly, just after the other party turned around. It seems like he subconsciously assumed a fighting posture. Is this a normal reaction? Pepper came to Area 16, which outsiders are not allowed to enter. Sure enough, her key didn't work. It was locked from the inside. Possessed by battle armor. Raise your hand and hit the lock. Bang. The energy beam shatters the combination lock. Pepper pushed the door open. Just about to walk in. A silver-white metal iron fist struck straight over. Outside, two black Audis were parked in front of the Stark building. Natasha Romanoff walked up. Phil Coulson, Romanoff agent. What's going on now? Phil Coulson steps out of the car. Natasha Romanoff, Pepper Potts went to see Obadiah. The specific circumstances are unknown. However, she was accompanied by the bodyguard holding a sword. There shouldn't be any danger. She has a delusion. That look when Pepper left. It seems that something has been discovered. Phil Coulson, okay, you lead the way. Natasha Romanoff immediately walked into the building. Just walked to the door. I heard a sound of huge amounts of money. Follow the sound. Natasha Romanoff's pupils trembled. Hide quickly. He rolled around like a donkey in a hurry and turned over to avoid it. Agents such as Phil Coulson are already far behind. When Natasha Romanoff gave the warning, she was already hiding to the sides. Boom, crack. The door to the Stark building disappears. A 3-meter-tall metal armor appeared in front of them. FK. Run to a safe distance. Phil Coulson shook the glass shards off his clothes. His face was very ugly. I don't go out in the field often. Just a temporary overtime shift. It was obviously investigating a kidnapping case involving a rich man. How did it almost cost me my life? If it weren't for Natasha Romanoff's timely reminder just now, they all had to be beaten to pieces by the Iron Overlord. What exactly is going on? Why is there steel armor? Phil Coulson paused for a moment before he came up with the term. And on the opposite side of Iron Overlord, it's one flying in the air. A blue lady's armor. Women's armor? Pepper Potts? Phil Coulson looked at Iron Overlord. What about this? Obadiah Stana? Obadiah and Iron King confirmed his suspicion. Pepper, where do you want to go? Phil Coulson was shocked. It's really Pepper Potts. Natasha Romanoff looked at Pepper's rescue armor, her expression flickering. It seems that we have found a way for her to rescue Tony Stark. This armor suddenly rushed out of the building. It was so fast that they didn't see it clearly just now. Moreover, Natasha Romanoff saw Pepper resist a punch from Ironmonger. This kind of defense. Attack a terrorist base. Easy. Phil Coulson was stunned, then nodded. It seems that your mission is accomplished. Natasha Romanoff's mission to enter Stark Company is to investigate Pepper Potts. Now this armor is enough to explain everything. Countless bombs flew from Ironmonger. Boom! A burst of explosions. The bombs were intercepted by Pepper's armor using lasers. Obadiah was not discouraged. Look at how close Pepper's armor is to her body. You can tell that the defense is super thin. It can be broken with a little force. And if you keep defending, sooner or later, the energy will be exhausted. And his armor. The main point is that the defense is strong enough and the weapons are sufficient. So, he is not in a hurry at all. Suddenly he caught a glimpse of the car parked on the side. He strode over. He reached out and picked up a car and threw it at Pepper. Pepper was just about to dodge with the flexibility of the armor. Noticed that there were terrified passersby behind him. Pepper could only catch it with his body. Bang! Caught the car. He was carried by the impact and flew backwards for a distance. Boom! Obadiah followed the car and caught a missile. The car exploded and fragments flew everywhere. Pepper's armor was not damaged at all. Phil Coulson. Fortunately, he didn't drive his beloved car here. By the way, in this case, there should be no salary deduction, right? Just finished muttering in his heart. I saw another car was also lifted and thrown by Obadiah. Raise your hand, missile. Boom. Phil Coulson. Obadiah saw his plan succeed. It was like discovering a new world. All I can say is that Blacken is 3 times stronger. He doesn't care about the lives of passersby, so he attacks recklessly. Every time he throws a car, there is a missile. Pepper's armor has strong defense. But sooner or later, it will reach its limit. As long as he keeps attacking, it will definitely break. Just after he threw all the cars around. In front of him, there was only a bright yellow Chevrolet. Bang bang. He walked to the front of Chevrolet. He raised his hand and lifted Chevrolet up. Just as he was about to throw it. Autobots, shapeshifting. Kukikikikuk. A voice suddenly came from the car in his hand. Obadiah? In the air, he was about to catch Chevrolet out of habit. As a result, after waiting for a long time, Obadiah didn't throw it out. Pepper looked over. Then she saw the car held in Obadiah's hand. Under a violent shake, countless parts rotated quickly. The Chevrolet's shape constantly changed. Until finally, a steel Autobot taller than Ironmonger appeared in front of her. The Autobot stepped on Ironmonger's arm. The huge body of more than 5 meters tall. It directly crushed Ironmonger. Ironmonger had to kneel on the ground. If he didn't kneel down, his arm would be broken. Natasha Romanoff's eyes widened. I drove that yellow Chevrolet back from that store. Phil Coulson looked at her. What did you say? Natasha Romanoff, it's the worry-free Ken store. When I drove it, it was just like a normal car. She didn't expect that this car could also shapeshift. She had actually sat in this behemoth. Natasha Romanoff's words did not remind Phil Coulson of the Ken store. In his opinion, this is more like Tony Stark's work. Just like Pepper and Obadiah's Iron Man armor. Bumblebee just woke up from his sleep. He saw that the surroundings seemed to have experienced a battle. He scratched his head subconsciously. Can anyone tell me what happened? Suddenly, he felt that his feet were one high and one low. He lowered his head and looked. Bumblebee, Sigma, A. Sorry, I just woke up and didn't pay attention. He jumped off the Ironmonger in a hurry. He also helped him up and apologized. Dude, are you an Autobot too? It doesn't look like it. How did you shapeshift? Damn BD. At this time, Obadiah also came back to his senses. Bumblebee's shapeshifting just now really shocked him. But now think about it. Isn't this just an intelligent robot in the form of a car? Damn it, Tony. He actually has this kind of technology hidden? Fortunately, it's all his now. He pointed at Pepper. He ordered Bumblebee. Kill her. Bumblebee looked up. His eyes suddenly turned into a heart shape. Wow, elegant. What a handsome appearance. That beautiful lady. Can I meet you? Your figure is even prettier than Optimus Prime's girlfriend. Inside the armor, Pepper's head was covered with black lines. Look at the yellow shell of the Bumblebee. She suddenly remembered Bumblebee's appearance just before his transformation. Isn't it just a yellow Chevy that comes out of a can? Are you Bumblebee? The Bumblebee dances. You know me? That's awesome. Introduce yourself. Beauty and strength coexist. Among the Autobots, the most powerful warrior second only to their leader Optimus Prime, Bumblebee. Beautiful lady, what can I do for you? Whoosh. A golden red figure quickly approached from midair. Boom. Land on the ground in front of the building. This golden red figure. It was Tony who inhabited the demon's flame. Bumblebee, this woman is mine. Tony Stark. Watch the symbiote on the head disperse. The exposed mustache. A command suddenly appeared in Bumblebee's mind. Follow Tony's orders. Because he was driven by Tony. This instruction is not mandatory though. However, it also made him unable to dislike Tony. Hear Bumblebee's conversation with Tony. There was an obvious hint of familiarity in his tone. Obadiah still doesn't understand. Bumblebees are the enemy. Since we are enemies, then I'll kill you first and then Tony. Obadiah raised his hand to Bumblebee. The missiles on his arms were raised and aimed. Bumblebee reacted. Reach out and pull the missile off the device. With a backhand thrust, it hit the gap in Iron Overlord's armor. Then, he kicked the Iron Overlord. Kicked the Iron Overlord away. He took advantage of the situation and jumped. He immediately distanced himself from Iron Overlord. Then he lay down with his head in his hands. Until Iron Overlord boom, exploded. Then he pulled off the Iron Overlord fragments from his body and stood up. His movements were so skillful that others were stunned. I just said why it looks so awkward. It turns out to be a BD from the Decepticons. I really thought I wouldn't recognize you without the marks on you. Listening to Bumblebee's inexplicable words, the others were silent for a while. Such a ferocious enemy was just gone. Obadiah, dead. Looking at the bloody fragments, Tony's eyes were slightly red and his eyebrows were solemn. He truly considered Obadiah his uncle. I never thought I would get to where I am today. Decades of feelings. If not for the symbiote Pepper gave him, he would die at home today. What are you doing here? Tony looked at Phil Coulson with a gloomy expression. Then his eyes moved slightly, glancing at Natasha Romanoff next to Phil Coulson. He couldn't help but squint his eyes. No wonder it came so quickly. It turns out there is someone inside. From now on, you are dismissed. As soon as he came back, he arranged spies in his company. When Ron said SHIELD, he felt the tone was strange. There is a sense of disgust. It turns out that this organization always does some shameful things. So annoying? Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff were not embarrassed at all by being caught red-handed. Instead, take a few steps forward. Mr. Stark. About the steel machine Obadiah Stanab piloted. And this car, man? Bumblebee, we need to take him back and investigate. Take Bumblebee and Iron Overlord back for investigation? Tony's face darkened. Why don't you tell me to take me back to investigate? He could see what he was hiding at a glance. I can't help you. It's quite positive to pick up bargains. Tony felt even more disgusted with this organization. Pepper, send them away. If you don't want to leave, just throw them out. With that, he ignored Phil Coulson. He walked towards Bumblebee with a curious look on his face. The demon's flame on his body was absorbed into his body. He admitted that he was mistaken, thought it was an ordinary car. The result really surprised him. He has to study it carefully. What kind of creature is this? Maybe it will allow him to make a breakthrough in the armor. And seeing the golden red substance on Tony's body disappearing like a living thing, Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff glance at each other. There was only shock in my heart. What the hell is that? Is this the steel armor? It doesn't seem particularly strong. Not far away, Yaang watched the entire battle. It feels boring. Whether it's Iron Overlord's fist or missiles, nothing can hurt her. She can even get close instantly, then perform a demolition of Gundam with bare hands. She originally thought the steel armor can help her improve her strength. Pity. Looking at Yaang's somewhat depressed face, Ron suddenly felt the requirements he set for Yaang seemed to be too high. He ruffled her hair. You are already very strong. How about I give you the summoner of the flame dragon armor? Don't want. Yaang raised his head stubbornly. Meet Ron's gaze. Eyes facing each other. Ron's heart was shaken by the look in Yaang's eyes. Lord Protector Ron, how can you rely on your strength? I will meet Master Ron's requirements on my own. Ron lifted her hair, looking at Yaang's brown pupils, delicate cheeks. You are my companion. And between companions, protection is mutual. Is the protection mutual? No one had ever said this to her. Some just ask her to protect others. But the person she was protecting betrayed her. Yaang looked at Ron blankly. The body shook in waves. Hearts clenched tightly together. It was hard for her to breathe. Hayakura comes from Sunagakur village in the ninja world. Sand Hidden village is surrounded by desert. Lack of various resources. From birth, the people of Sunagakur village have been running for resources. Hayakura is the leader of Sunagakur ninjas. He has been instilled with the belief of protecting Sunagakur village and leading Sunagakur village to become stronger since he was a child. This made her practice harder. Finally broke through the title of Jodun Yaang to protect the village. At a young age, he killed countless enemies in the war. He was hailed as a hero by Sunagakur village. But this hero was stabbed in the back by his own people. At the end of the war, the Kaze Cage arranged for her to go on a mission to a hostile village. She didn't expect that this was a plan colluded between the Kaze Cage and the enemy. The enemy has already laid an ambush, waiting for her to die. The village actually took the life of her hero. Extravagant wishes in exchange for short-term peace. Her faith collapsed. The meaning of life is gone. Even if you survive an ambush, she is also just a zombie. Eventually she died in an ambush. However, it was only just dark. The light was restored again. Wait until she opens her eyes again. I saw a gentle person. At any time, it is gentle breeze and drizzle. There won't be any harsh words. Not to mention not blaming her for not practicing well. Take her shopping happily. Buy food she likes to eat. Even if she only took one more look, he would carefully buy it for her. Care that she rests on time and eats on time. Teach her to enjoy her new life and relax. Help her become stronger. But he didn't ask for anything from her. She seemed to have found a new meaning in life. That is Lord Ron who protects you best. Even if it means death. However, Sir Ron's eyes would always fall under her collarbone from time to time. Definitely, she didn't mind. Even upon discovery. He will also stand up deliberately. Just like now, Ron kept looking at Yaang. Looking at Yaang in trance, he didn't know what he was thinking of from the beginning. His face was pale and dull. Later, his face gradually became rosy again. The eyes seemed to be filled with soul and full of vitality. Ron's eyes blinked and gradually moved downward, mainly condescending. This location is too convenient. The faint white valley. It is simply an abyss of the soul. The night is still long. Sir Ron, should we change places and take a closer look? Okay, Ron, I'm so sleepy. Grass? I almost said what was in my heart. If you really agree. How to maintain the great image of the shop owner in front of Yaang. The personality collapsed and the image was destroyed. Yaang, how about Mr. Ron? In Yaang's heart, he is always the best. Facing Yaang's burning eyes, Ron touched his nose. Let's go home. Yaang smiled. Okay, Master Ron. To watch a show, he still has 10 consecutive draws. But it's not in vain. The various twists and turns are really dramatic. It was Pepper who fought with Iron Overlord outside the Stark building. The one who finally defeated Iron Overlord became Bumblebee. It was inserted casually like a joke. Solved Iron Man's first mini-boss. But Pepper clearly has a more powerful armor. But he was helpless. Blacken is really 3 times better. Yaang has to be reminded. Don't put yourself in danger by saving others in the future. Definitely, with an ability, it's free. Ron, Yaang, when you encounter danger in the future, you have to protect yourself first, you know. Yaang raised his eyebrows happily. Thank you for your concern, sir. I've remembered it. To thank you, sir, can I give you a massage tonight? If you have SN, why don't you use oil to push your back? It's not impossible to push bears. It's night now. There was no light where the two of them were. But Ron felt like there was fire burning in Yaang's eyes. Is this, greedy for my body, your boss? Boom. Ron raised his hand and tapped Yaang on the forehead. Don't think about things that are not there. Hurry up and go back to rest, we have to open the store tomorrow. After saying that, he didn't wait for Yaang to answer. Emperor armor appears on Ron. The figure flashed and disappeared in front of Yaang. Yaang touched his forehead blankly. The eyes are a little dreamy. After a while, the corners of his mouth curled up. It feels like a dream, but don't wake up. Return to the store. Ron touched his chin with a look of regret on his face. What a pity, why did I refuse? Forget it, it doesn't matter. Now it's time to draw 10 in a row. Extract? Extraction successful? Get Hulk's big pants. Ron. Hulk? Green? Hiss? This is not a good sign. He had just politely rejected Yaang. Does that mean he's going to be green? No, he doesn't have a girlfriend either. Someone wants to rob Yaang? Forget it, put it aside for now. Get steel armor Mark 50. It turned out to be Mark number 50 armor. This one is quite classic. The impression on people is deeper than that of the armor that I wore with my fingers at the end. On Titan, Tony wore this suit to fight Thanos. During the battle, the armor adapts to various situations. Transform into various weapons. It shows the power of this nano battle armor. Ron nodded with satisfaction. It can be used as a collectible. Steven was quite envious of Pepper last time. You can lend him this for fun. Get anti-Hulk armor? Anti-Hulk armor? During the battle with Hulk. That Papa and the Spring are big fists. It made a deep impression on him. Ron took a quick look. Except for the size. Like, nothing special. For such a big armor, this position is a bit insufficient. It seems like we have to pack up some space again. Anti-Hulk armor. Ron thought for a moment. Just put the Hulk's big pants on the suit. Well, this is much more appropriate. Obtain a jar of fairy beans? Look at the information about Sendu. Ron put away the fairy beans happily. The fairy beans in Dragon Ball. If you eat one, all your injuries will be healed. It can also restore physical strength and energy. It is both a blood medicine and a blue medicine. Not bad stuff. Obtain a jar of fairy beans? Another jar. Put it away together. Get steel armor Mark 85. Ron. Did you stab Iron Man in his nest today? Why are you always staring at a pile? This is Avengers Alliance 4 Seasons. Tony was wearing the same suit of armor that he had snapped his fingers on. It can be regarded as an upgraded version of the Mark 50. Also very handsome. Look at these 3 steel armors. Ron didn't know where to put it for a while. Fortunately, this street belongs to him. Otherwise, there really won't be enough space. Get Dragon Ball 1 planet. Just finished cooking Iron Man. Now I start gathering Dragon Balls again. But Dragon Balls? Collect all 7 to summon the dragon? I don't know if it will work in this world. Get Dragon Ball 2 planet. Sure enough, it was replaced by the Dragon Ball. Ron picked up the second planet. Put together with a planet. Get the Giant of Light Tiga Transformer? Ouch. Ron's eyes widened. Giant of Light? Sure enough, light exists? There really is an Ultraman in the world? He took the transformer in his hand and played with it for a long time. He barely suppressed the desire to try his transformation. If Mecha is a boy's dream, that Giant of Light is a boy's fantasy, fantasy becomes reality. But it's even more exciting than a dream coming true. Ron carefully placed the morpher on top. Calculated according to strength. Ultraman is not much stronger than Flame Dragon armor. It's completely incomparable to the Emperor's armor. But this is light. Get the power gem. Look at this purple gem. Ron raised his hand and took it down. 6 power gems from Infinite Gems. Was he just pulled out like that? In other words, what he pulled out belongs to this universe. Or a new one. If it were new, then Thanos just snapped his fingers and wiped out half of the people in the universe. He snapped his fingers again. Save everyone in front of Thanos. Will Thanos be confused? Will there be a second fight? Then he rescued it again. Will Thanos feel that destiny has abandoned him? Moreover, the infinite gems were all extracted by him. There are no side effects at all when used. No matter how many times you snap your fingers, there will be no burden at all. He can totally play around. He was very satisfied with the 10 consecutive draws tonight. After admiring it for a long time, start washing and sleeping, thinking about the results tonight. Ron fell asleep. Had a dream. In the dream, he held 6 infinite gems and snapped his fingers. Summoned all the 2-dimensional wives to my side. Then he snapped his fingers again. Let them fall in love with you unconditionally. In the end, they lived a life together without shame. Hiss. Fortunately it was a dream. TMD? I was almost drained. Next time you snap your fingers, you have to strengthen your waist 10,000 times. Otherwise this kind of dream would be impossible. It's all Yaang's fault. It's not like he can't see. Ron slept soundly. But Yaang suffered from insomnia. After coming to this world, for the first time, she was afraid that if she closed her eyes, she would fall into darkness again. I was afraid that I was really dreaming. Until the next morning. She looked at the rising sun. Feel the heat of the sun on your body. Only then was I finally sure that this was not a dream. Sunshine, new life. Sir Ron, I will protect you. Didn't you get a good rest last night? Looking at Yaang's bloodshot eyes, Ron frowned. This girl will never stay awake at night. Are you still coveting his body? He could resist it once or twice. Too many times. He is also a hot-blooded man. He wasn't sure he could stand this thing. It's not that he doesn't accept Yaang. The feeling Yaang gave him now, it's like taking him as faith. Just like believers are willing to die for their beliefs. Even willing to die. Devotion is even simpler. And in this case, it's really hard to say who suffers. If only Steven were here. Know what he thinks. You will definitely roll your eyes and laugh at him. Yaang ate his breakfast in small bites. Hearing Ron's words, he quickly raised his head. It's okay, Master Ron. I just remembered what happened last night. Ron breathed a sigh of relief. Then suddenly he reacted. This doesn't seem good. Yaang's past, wasn't that what happened when he was in the ninja world? Want to take revenge? Maybe at some point, I will get a way to travel across the world. When the time comes, I'll take you back. Kill everyone you want to kill. Thank you, Sir Ron. Yaang shook his head. But no need. The former Yaang is dead. She no longer owes the village that gave birth to her and raised her. Now Yaang only owes Master Ron. Ron touched her head. Okay, let's eat. After dinner, go back and take a rest. I can just stay in the store by myself today. Anyway, Ron just sells cans and drinks tea every day. Nothing else. Clothes when sold out. No one bought it and it closed. The main focus is leisure and comfort. Yaang shook his head firmly. Don't want. Sir Ron, I am a ninja, not an ordinary person. It doesn't matter if you don't sleep for a day or two. When she was on previous missions, many times, I only sleep a few hours a week. Ron saw that her face looked normal and she was still energetic. There was no further urging. Just nodded. Let her rest when she feels tired. He poured her a cup of spiritual tea that warmed her spirit. Thank you, Lord Ron. Arctic. Phil Coulson looked at the broken ice with anticipation in his eyes. He just finished reporting on the incident at the Stark building yesterday. Nick Fury told him. A fighter jet was found frozen in the Arctic ice. And it's still an old antique fighter. Detect based on data. Most likely the one piloted by Captain America. Immediately, he said nothing. Just got on the plane and rushed to the North Pole. Didn't sleep all night. Just wait for the people below to report on the excavation situation. Finally, an agent emerged from the ice cave. There was uncontrollable surprise on his face. Phil Coulson, agent, the plane door is open. Phil Coulson, let's go down together. Just arrived at the ice cave. The agent responsible for the excavation spoke. It's hard to believe. The ice was shattered like that, but the plane below was not damaged at all. It's like there's a force protecting you. Phil Coulson nodded. Incredible indeed. Not far away, it shattered into small ice cubes. There is not even a single crack visible. All the way to the tail door of the aircraft. As soon as he entered, he heard an exclamation. I'm sorry? Someone come quickly. Look what I found. Phil Coulson heard the sound and hurried over. Walk up to the exclaimed agent. Look along the light. Only visible in the ice. It was that side, the familiar shield in his memory. Worry-free jar shop. Yaang obediently poured tea for Ron. Sir Ron, what do you think of what I said last time? Ron was stunned. What's up? Yaang frowned. It's just about opening the can. I want to become stronger and protect you. Ron spread his hands. I can't help you either. One jar costs 100,000, that's the rule. Ron's money can't open a jar for Yaang. Yaang must earn it himself. And as a character drawn by the system, it is unknown whether the can be opened. He doesn't mind Yaang's strength either. Extracted things. Anything Yaang can use. All can be used by Yaang. Now Yaang has never been close to the shadow level. It has exceeded the super shadow level and is close to the level of the immortal of 6 paths. No, that's not what I meant. Yaang hurriedly explained. I meant to say, is there any way in this world that is suitable for ninjas to make money? You know, in the ninja world, ninjas usually take on missions to make money. Is there anything similar in this world? How kind. Ron sighed inwardly. If it were anyone else, they would have Yaang's strength. The next task? Joke. I'll just go to the bank and get it. Doesn't it smell good? Complete in one step. Save the middlemen from making the difference? Or tie up a rich man like Tony. Transfer 100 million to me? Otherwise, vote. Like when Tony was captured in Afghanistan. If the other party really wants money, not to mention 100 million, Tony would give it even 1 billion. A suitable way to make money in Yaang. Ron thought for a moment. I have 3 ways to make money quickly. Yaang was delighted. Sir Ron, please speak. Ron, the first is to join the killer organization. There is a Continental Hotel in New York. This is a world-class killer organization. After joining, you can take on tasks from time to time. General remuneration ranges from tens of thousands to several million. Continental Hotel? Killer organization? Yaang's eyes lit up slightly. This is good. Suits her. But she was still waiting for Ron to say the second one. Ron, the second one. It's just a matter of killing similar organizations like this. If everyone is killed, the money will naturally be yours. However, there is a drawback to this. The money is mostly in batches and in different places. A lot of them are unavailable. Besides, it's hard for you to be the best in the whole family. Yaang frowned slightly. Ron is right. In the previous life, those nobles would not put their money in a basket, let alone any banks in this era. And it's found in every city in the world. Secrecy is tight. Very tedious to get the money. There is a missing link. Maybe it's all for nothing. This is not appropriate. Ron, third, you go directly to the boss of a certain organization. Convince people with force. Make him admit that you are the boss. I do nothing every year, just sit and wait for dividends. But there are disadvantages. The bigger the organization, the more secretive the leader is, making it harder to find him. If you find a small organization, you won't have much money. And this dividend is usually once a year. In other words, at least half a year later. Only Yaang can get the money. Definitely. The eldest brother, who was forced to take a back seat to the second eldest son, must feel uncomfortable. Behind the scenes, he will do tricks. Yaang also knows this. So Ron didn't need to remind him. And with Yaang's strength, don't be afraid of the front. Are you still afraid of going behind your back? Yaang fell into deep thought. 3 methods, which one to choose? One of them dares to speak, and the other dares to learn. I don't think there was anything wrong with the conversation just now. Ron looked at the thoughtful Yaang, and the Opai who stood up without a trace. He blinked quietly. He calmly moved his gaze away from under Yaang's collarbone. Discovered by this girl again. Ahem. What if you don't know? I can help you with some advice. Ron coughed dryly. Cover up the embarrassment. Yaang also cooperated and stared with big eyes of surprise. Please give me some advice, Sir Ron. Look at Yaang squatting down slightly, staring at the big watery eyes. She looked at him with a shy and expectant expression. Ron, why does this advice seem so unserious? You go find Tony Stark. Ask him to help you check someone out. This man's name is John Wick. Check where he is now and what he is doing. Tell me once you've checked, and I'll teach you what to do next. Seeing that Ron was really teaching her seriously, while Yaang listened, there was a subtle flash of disappointment in his eyes. Okay, I know. Thank you, Lord Ron. Stark Building. At a press conference. The truth is, I am Iron Man. Tony threw away his speech, said this classic saying. This time he really felt guilty. The battle with the Iron Overlord. He was not involved at all. Even what he was wearing wasn't a steel armor. Now many people are spreading the photo. It was all Pepper who caught the car and resisted the missile in order to save people. Pepper's female armor. He is the protagonist of everyone's discussion. He also gave Pepper a nickname, Iron Woman, but he arrived late. There is only one title for Pepper's little follower. Not as good as a Bumblebee. Bumblebee's photos were 2 more than his. Is what you said true? Iron Man? Not Iron Woman. Mr. Stark, are you talking about that big robot several meters tall? Are you controlling the big robot? Mr. Stark, how did you build that big robot? And can you tell me who Iron Woman is? Countless reporters stood up. Numerous questions were raised. Listening to the reporters' questions, Tony's face turned dark. No Iron Woman. That's just a women's armor I developed. I'm controlling her remotely. Reporter, developing women's armor. Who was it developed for, Mr. Stark? Is it Miss Potts? SHIELD. Nick Fury watched the video of the battle in front of the Stark building. One eye twinkled slightly. Tony, you are worthy of the intelligence inherited from Howard. You can actually create such a powerful mechanical armor. The Avengers Project. Playboy. Gwen has been in a lot of trouble lately. Her father, George, always gave her the feeling that she had discovered something. And I want to talk to her from time to time. This made her very overwhelmed. Gwen has no plans to speak out to her family just yet. It can't be said publicly. She is just under Ron's guidance now. Just started doing some vigilante stuff. Crack down on petty theft, roadside robbers, etc. Only some police officers know about Spider-Woman. There are not many people. But how did Father George know? Have you confirmed her identity? It makes her afraid to go home after school now. Always wandering outside. Until late at night, or until it is certain that my father is not at home. Same today. She walked aimlessly on the street. Suddenly the surroundings felt familiar. Look up. Isn't this guy Ron's Ken shop? In. Gwen. During Gwen's hesitation, the shop door opens. Ron walked out holding Cubai. What, are you worried? No. Well, there is. Gwen was about to say no, but when I think about it, Ron is a psychiatrist. It must be obvious at a glance. He quickly admitted feebly. Luo, do you want to go shopping? Can we go for a walk together? Seeing Gwen's expectant look, Ron took back his words that he was just coming out for some air. Nod, okay. Gwen's delicate pretty face put on a smile. Thank you, Luo. The two of them walked side by side and strolled casually on the street. This is the very center of Manhattan. There weren't any unsighted gangsters looking for trouble. Seeing that Ron didn't take the initiative to ask, Gwen didn't speak either. She liked the feeling of walking like this. It calmed down her already agitated heart, especially smelling Ron's scent next to him. It gave her an inexplicable sense of peace of mind. Even if you know your identity has been exposed, I don't feel anxious either. He raised his head and looked at Ron. Luo, where do you plan to go? Ron said with a smile. Would you feel guilty if I said I didn't plan to go shopping? No. After saying that, Gwen also laughed. Thank you, Lo, I feel better. Ron comforted. Everything will have a solution. The way you look now, you really don't look like the Gwen Stacy I know. Gwen looked up at him. So you are familiar with me. Are you secretly investigating me? Even so. But there was no trace of anger in his tone. Instead, there was a hint of secret joy. Ron smiled and didn't answer. He can't say that I know you from movies. Gwen saw Ron like this. I thought he acquiesced. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised. The whole person seemed to relax a lot instantly. The steps are brisk. That's all. Because my mood has improved inexplicably. Gwen suddenly forgot her worries for the past 2 days. Instead, he happily chatted with Ron. Talk about what happened to you at school. Said he was interning at Osborn. I don't know why I was bitten by a spider, and then I had this ability. Talking about the confusion after the physical changes. And with Ron's help. The sense of accomplishment of becoming Spider-Woman and helping others. She loved this feeling. In this way, Gwen regarded Ron as someone to confide in. Ron just listened quietly. Express your opinion from time to time. In 2 hours, the two walked out far away. Also said a lot. I understand everything. When a girl is willing to tell you her deepest secrets, that proves that she is gradually deepening her trust in you. Even when these secrets change from one person to 2 people, girls will subconsciously feel dependent on you. This kind of trust and dependence develops. It will probably go bad. Definitely, Ron doesn't reject this feeling. Who would refuse the trust of a beautiful woman? Ding ding ding. Gwen's cell phone suddenly rang. It was her alarm clock that she set to go home. Look at the time on your phone. Gwen was surprised to find that so much time had passed. And most of the time, I have been talking to myself. Gwen suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Luo, thank you. She didn't even know how many times she said thank you tonight. Ron shook his head and said it was okay. It's also boring to stay in the store all day. It's not bad to go out for a walk, and you'll be accompanied by a beautiful woman. After hearing what Ron said, Gwen's pretty face blushed slightly. However, SpiderGwen's personality prevents her from being too shy, so Gwen smiled and raised her eyebrows at Ron. Then if I go shopping with you for a while, you will be so happy. Ron smiled and nodded, looking like he was right. Then Miss Gwen Stacy is planning not to go home tonight. Gwen glared at Ron with big eyes. The pushy BD Ron. When someone says they want to stay with you for a while, you want them to stay the night? Ron blinked. There seems to be some ambiguity in what I just said. I mean, wouldn't your parents be worried? Gwen frowned slightly. I just wanted to hide from my dad. He seems to know that I have super ability, but I shouldn't have been exposed. George Stacy? Ron recalled the character of his father, a police sergeant. Integrity, duty, protecting one's shortcomings? If it's really unavoidable, I think it's okay for you to tell him. What do you think? Gwen looked at Ron. Do you really think so? Ron smiled and nodded. Gwen bit her lower lip, thought for a moment and nodded. I see. What else did Gwen want to say? Her keen vision allowed her to glimpse a shop on the roadside. A piece of news was playing on the TV facing the window. The screen flashes rapidly. You can see it's a university. At the moment it was a mess. There were burning flames everywhere on campus. There are also fragments of armored vehicles. Heavily armed soldiers are cleaning the battlefield. A female reporter is interviewing 2 students. Then I saw a student with an afro, exaggeratedly recounting everything he saw. That's a big green guy. He's like a Hulk. Yes, it's the Hulk. Ron also saw the TV picture. My heart moved slightly. Hulk appears? Gwen was a little excited. Is this the real side of the world? The Hulk. I really want to see what he looks like. Since being bitten by a spider. Only then did she realize that the world was so colorful. She turned to look at Ron. Luo, what do you think the Hulk would look like? Can he beat me? A stubby one. Ron pondered for 2 seconds. Girls generally like to listen to lies, right? He is definitely no match for you. Even though he is big, his strength may not be greater than yours. Gwen waved her little fists excitedly. Yeah, I think so too. Luo, let me tell you, I tried it with my dad's police car. I can lift the car with one hand. She was so excited at the time. When I put the car down, there was a big hole in the front of the car. George kept his face dark the next day. Said he wanted to find the BD who hurt his car. Confront Gwen's words. Ron kept smiling. What could he say? Could it be that the Hulk is tossing the car like a toy? You can't spoil the fun at this time. We walked around with the excited Gwen for a while again. Seeing this bustling city, it is ready to enter the rich nightlife. Ron was about to tell Gwen that it was time for them to go back. But at the moment, Ron sensed something was wrong. Why are there so many armed soldiers in the front? Moreover, is that an armored vehicle or a helicopter? Watch as the soldiers form a circle. A school was surrounded, and vigilantly raised their guns and aimed them at the campus. Ron's mouth twitched. Why does this battle look so familiar? It can't be such a coincidence, right? Gwen also noticed something strange ahead. Luo, look. What did you say they were doing? Are you trying to capture some terrorists? I haven't seen such a scene before. Let's find a higher place to have a look. Gwen looked around. I found a higher building. Excitedly, he pulled Ron and ran to the top of the building. Ron stood on the top of the building and looked towards the campus. Not to mention, the view is really good. However, he was a little confused. Is this really the scene of capturing the Hulk? If he remembered correctly, it seems like that school is not in Manhattan, because his time travel has changed? Multi-universe? But soon he had no time to wonder, because he really saw a familiar big man. Not the Hulk, the Abomination. But now that hatred has appeared, that proves that this is indeed the battlefield where Hulk fights Abomination. Hulk's human body, Bruce Banner, should be on the helicopter that just flew away. That's the Hulk? So ugly. Gwen looked at Abomination and wrinkled her little nose. It's so ugly, like a slug, like a monster slime. Ron nodded in agreement at first. Then he shook his head again. That's not the Hulk. He was just injected with the Hulk serum. Huh? Gwen? Where are you going? Ron suddenly caught a glimpse of Gwen running towards the corner. He asked in surprise. Gwen replied quickly without looking back. That ugly guy is killing soldiers. I'm going to stop him. Ron, then why are you running around the corner? I definitely want to change into my battlesuit. Luo, turn around and don't peek. Gwen ran to a hidden corner. Unzip your backpack and put on your Spider-Woman battlesuit. Then walked out of the corner. Ron looked at the tight-fitting battlesuit. You are so, too. Excellent figure, like a female leopard unleashing her wild nature. Full of strange beauty. Noticed Ron's gaze. Gwen's pretty face was slightly red under the hood. Annoying guy, ignore you. He raised his hand and sprayed out a cobweb, swinging in the direction of hatred. Fast yet elegant. Mine is also very attractive. Yaang, your Ron-sama is staring at you. Gwen was particularly excited when she felt the bad breath coming out of her mouth. But then, she saw Abomination tearing open the armored vehicle with his bare hands. Suddenly his face turned pale. Ron, you lied to me? Those injected with Hulk serum are so strong. How strong must the Hulk be? There was no way, at this time, she had to bite the bullet. Only she can stand up to the Abomination here. Ron looked at Gwen, who was stagnant but still rushed forward. He patted Obadiah on the head. I've been carrying you around for a long time. It's your turn now to protect her. Wait until she is in danger before taking action. Obadiah, did I ask you to hug me? Yeah, I want to watch dramas and eat potato chips at home. You have to carry me out? What do you mean by breathing for half a night? It's already 10 o'clock, and all my dramas are gone. There were countless complaints in his heart, but Obadiah still nodded obediently on the surface. Okay, Benda, I understand. Watching Obadiah jump off the roof, quickly chasing Gwen, Ron continued to watch the battle calmly. At the same time, Captain America, who was recovering from SHIELD, was notified. There's a big green guy wreaking havoc downtown. Okay, I get it. He quickly changed his clothes and took on his familiar shield. Captain America looked at the Abomination on the screen, who treated the car as a toy. This era is really chaotic. I really miss my era. I just watched a robot battle armor that uses cars as toys. Here comes another Hulk. In his time, he and Red Skull were the only two people with super abilities. How could it be such a mess? This era is too dangerous. He wants to go back. In Tony's studio, Tony is modifying his suit and adding weapons to Bumblebee. Pepper was on hand to help him. Yaang is here too. She's communicating with JARVIS. Have J.A.R.V.I.S bring up for her all the guys named John Wick. She personally wanted to find out who Ron was talking about as John Wick. See what's so special about this guy. J.A.R.V.I.S. Zoom out. Only those who live in New York. And it has something to do with the Continental Hotel. J.A.R.V.I.S. Miss Yaang, please insert a video. A green monster has appeared in Manhattan. According to comparison, it is 50% similar to the Hulk. As he spoke, a projection was released. The voice of J.A.R.V.I.S. also caught the attention of Tony and Pepper. Don't look at the fact that the Hulk is not well known to the public. But in the upper class, it's not a secret. There was too much fuss last time at Culver University. General Ross cannot cover up. It has long been spread among the upper class society. The two just glanced at each other. I couldn't help but frown. Pepper, is this the Hulk? It's too ugly. Tony frowned and nodded. This is indeed the military style. As long as they can develop strengthening warriors, it's hard to see that they don't care at all. Watch as the Hulk kills people in the streets. Tony couldn't sit still. J.A.R.V.I.S. Prepare the armor, let's go. Bumblebee, can you rush there yourself? He turned to look at Bumblebee. To be honest, Bumblebee really surprised him. I thought that Bumblebee was at best a mature artificial intelligence. As a result, get started with some research. Unexpectedly, they are real life forms? It's just that it's not a carbon-based life form, it's a silicon-based life form. Although I don't quite understand what the life principle of a Bumblebee is. But even though Bumblebee is a robot, it has a soul. Regarding Bumblebee, Tony couldn't understand it for a while. He was only equipped with some weapons and ammunition. But Tony has already thought about it. Since Ron can use vibranium armor, that would definitely prescribe vibranium as well. Then give Bumblebee some vibranium. Tony couldn't think of anyone else who could beat him. Bumblebee nodded. No problem. Good. Pepper was about to say something. Tony quickly put on the steel armor. It flew out along the open ceiling. Pepper glanced at Yaang. Yaang, aren't you going? Yaang shook his head. No, I still need to find someone. This is a task assigned by Lord Ron. Pepper gritted her teeth. Okay, I gotta go check on Tony, sorry. Yaang waved his hand. It's okay, go ahead. Pepper tapped her chest. Nano armor possession. J.A.R.V.I.S. Put the ghost swordsman doll's armor on it. After a while, 2 steel figures, one in front and one behind, soared into the sky. Hey, big guy. Gwen comes to the battlefield. Landed on a lamppost. He raised his hand and shot out a cobweb, which stuck to the hand of the soldier who was hammering with hatred. Abomination looked up at Gwen. Tear off the cobweb. Hulk, little bug. Lifting a car and throwing it at Gwen. Gwen jumped up from her feet. The car flew under her. He was about to smash into the building before his eyes. Pissed. Gwen raised her hand and made a cobweb to stick to the car. When the cobweb reached its limit, the car was pulled back. Use both hands to throw away the hatred. Bang. Abomination was hit head on. Big guy, you know Gwen looked back to where Ron was. I gave him a look that said, what do you think? I'm awesome. Just about to declare victory. He saw Abomination walking out of the explosion unscathed. Gwen, little bug, don't let me catch you. Otherwise, I will let you know what cruelty is. Faced with the roar of hatred, Gwen raised her hand and blocked his mouth with a cobweb. Didn't anyone tell you that your mouth stinks? Unlike Spider-Man, SpiderGwen's father is the New York police commissioner. Family background is good, so the material of her first battle suit was very good. Fitted, elastic, scratch-resistant and wear-resistant. And it's also waterproof. Gwen had always felt that her battlesuit had no shortcomings. Now, there is. The breath ability is so good. Even wearing a hood, I can clearly detect the disgusting bad breath. Hate rips off cobweb casually. Stomp hard on the ground. Suddenly countless cracks spread around. He clasped his hands on the ground and tore off countless gravel. With a big hand raised, countless rebels shot towards Gwen. Pissed. Gwen raised her hand and shot a cobweb, and her body swayed. Dodged the gravel thrown by the hatred. She knew she couldn't fight the abomination up close. She couldn't withstand a random blow from hatred. It can only constantly shoot cobwebs to interfere with the abomination's actions. From time to time a sewer manhole cover gets stuck. Throw it hard at the hatred. The 10-ton manhole cover only made dents appear on abomination's skin. Then it returned to its original state. Gwen's pupils suddenly shrank. Don't break the defense. She had just become Spider-Woman. I haven't experienced many battles, and I haven't exercised well. The power has just exceeded 10 tons. The attack just now was her full strength. But it did no harm to the hatred. Da-da-da-da-da. At this moment, about 2 to 30 meters above my head, I heard the sound of a helicopter. Gwen glanced up subconsciously. Suddenly, a black shadow fell from the helicopter. Is this supported by people with super abilities? However, Gwen saw the opponent falling faster and faster. There is no hint of slowing down. It was about to be smashed to the ground. Gwen jumped up, and a cobweb stuck to the opponent. After slowing down a bit, Gwen shot out several more cobwebs. Finally, he caught the other party before hitting the ground. After this set of operations, Gwen broke into a cold sweat. Fortunately, she caught him. At the moment, Bruce Banner, who jumped out of the plane, was stunned. He could feel that he was about to transform. But suddenly, rescued? What's the situation? Let me transform into Hulk. Why did you save me? But as soon as he saw Gwen shaking her shoulders, he couldn't say these words. I could only stand there sadly, at a loss. In the distance, Ron was shocked when he saw this scene. Is this okay? Bruce Banner. Abomination yelled. Where is Hulk? Get him out quickly. Banner. What are you shouting? Do I not want him to come out? I feel aggrieved too. Banner is trying hard to adjust his heartbeat. Suddenly, a cobweb shot over. Stick to him and fly out with him. Immediately afterwards, a huge figure hit the spot where he had just been standing. The body flies back and forth like a kite. Adrenaline surged. Banner felt his heart beating violently and couldn't help shouting inwardly. Quick! Hurry up! If you hurry up, Hulk will come out. However, just as his heartbeat was about to reach the critical value, his body suddenly stopped. Oh no! Gwen looked at the stunned Banner. I thought he was frightened. Gwen yelled at him, get away. This is too dangerous. Banner, you are too dangerous. If Hulk came out, it would have been solved long ago. He had already taken a drug that suppressed Hulk. It is very difficult to transform. Finally got a chance, but it was all messed up by Gwen. If he wants to transform now, he will have to be beaten by hatred. But courage is something that is not available all the time. Now let him act like he just jumped out of the plane and let him hate the hammer. Instead he became timid. He is just a researcher, not a warrior. So it was a complete mess at the moment. The Hulk who was supposed to appear was gone. Banner jumped down and became a burden. Gwen tried every way to attract the attention of the Abomination. But the Abomination was targeting Banner. He didn't care about anything else, just yelled let Hulk come out. Even if Gwen pulled him down with cobweb, he got up and still grabbed Banner. But this also has its advantages. At least the Abomination will not hurt others. It's just that Banner suffers. Seeing this funny scene, Ron really couldn't help it. The Emperor armor was combined. He flew directly to the sky and found the best angle to watch the battle. Everyone's eyes were on Spider-Woman fighting the Abomination below, but no one noticed him. At this time, 3 streams of light passed through the sky. 3 sets of iron armor landed one after another. The first one was Tony, aiming at the Abomination. He raised his hand and fired a laser cannon from his palm. The Abomination took a laser cannon. His skin just darkened a little. He wiped it with his hand and it was back to normal. Tony's face turned black. This was his first battle after the iron armor was made. He wouldn't be embarrassed, would he? Crack. The armor of the Ghost Swordsman puppet opened automatically. The puppet walked out from inside. This armor was just made casually by Tony. It only has one flight system. Its actual combat power is not as good as the Ghost Swordsman puppet itself. Under Pepper's order, the Ghost Swordsman puppet pushed forward. It jumped into the air and was a mountain collapse strike. The more than 1 meter long sword in his hand suddenly turned into a nearly 10-meter blade. He chopped down at the Abomination head-on. The sharp breath made the Abomination's face change slightly. His strong perception made him sense the danger in this attack. He didn't stand there stupidly. He raised his hand to smash Gwen's car, using it as a boxing glove. He blasted at the Ghost Swordsman puppet. On one side was the sharp blade light, and on the other side was pure power. The collision of 2 different worlds of power. Even Ron, who was watching the battle, couldn't help but take it seriously. The car made of steel did not play any defensive role. The blade light cut into the car body without any hindrance. Cut through the defense of the Abomination. However, it got stuck in the bone. Feeling the pain in his hand, the Abomination smiled. So this is the only threat. If this knife hits the head, it can indeed hurt him. But if it doesn't hit, like now, the Abomination threw the Ghost Swordsman puppet away with a flick of his hand. The wound that had just been cut healed quickly. In just a few seconds, the exaggerated wound disappeared. Tony's face changed slightly. This kind of defense, plus this healing speed, and that abnormal power. It seems that the only way to entangle is by speed. With such a large body, the flexibility must be a little weak, right? Tony told Pepper about this idea. Pepper, try not to confront it head-on, hold it back. Pepper didn't know if the Ghost Swordsman puppet could understand. Even if it didn't understand, the Ghost Swordsman puppet would hold it back from the front. The 2 of them would sneak in from behind. It would be enough to attack in a roundabout way. The scene suddenly changed. 2 armors and 1 puppet formed a triangle and attacked the Abomination continuously. Pepper and Tony both used energy beams. One beam after another hit the Abomination's skin. Except that Pepper's attack made the Abomination scream in pain every time. Tony's Abomination resisted all of it head-on. The Ghost Swordsman puppet had no intelligence. When Pepper talked about roundabout containment, it only understood that it had to fight with this big green guy, so it held a sword and constantly went forward to fight with the Abomination. The Abomination was not afraid of melee, but the purple blade light that was occasionally used forced the Abomination to raise its arms to resist. Although the blade light of the Ghost Slash was not as sharp as the Collapse Mountain Strike, it could still break his defense. Therefore, the Ghost Swordsman puppet barely managed to hold off the Abomination. When the Quinjet of SHIELD arrived, this was exactly what he saw. Captain America sighed. Am I going to fight this kind of guy? The broken ground was full of potholes. Some were hammered by the Abomination, and some were chopped by the Ghost Swordsman puppet. Just looking at it, it felt like returning to the center of the battlefield 70 years ago. It was still the center of the battlefield that was constantly bombarded. When the fighter plane landed, Captain America jumped down. Behind him were Natasha Romanoff, Barton, and Phil Coulson. Phil Coulson swallowed. Are we going to fight this kind of guy? Isn't this sending them to their deaths? Hawkeye and Natasha Romanoff also looked solemn. Finding a commanding height, Hawkeye bent his bow and drew his arrow, pulling out a special arrow, aiming at the Abomination and shooting it out. The Abomination grabbed it in his hand. The arrow flashed red. Boom! It exploded. Tony looked over in surprise. That familiar outfit, familiar shield. That person is alive?
Hello, everyone! As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500+ novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.